CineSnob Podcast.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 345 of the CineSnob Podcast. My name is Cody Villafana, and I'm joined here today by Kiko Martinez and Jocelyn Durant. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, I apologize because I forgot to upload the last two episodes. They're on YouTube, but not on Apple. So, hey, you get 3 new episodes today, which is cool. But we are back. It is 2026. We are not quite ready to review films for 2026. That'll come next week, but we are here today to talk about our top 10 films of 2025. And before we do that, Kiko, you, for the first time in your long-standing run as being part of this association, attended the Critics' Choice Movie Awards for the first time in sunny Los Angeles. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that experience and what that was like for you?
Yeah, like you said, it was my first time. I've been in the organization for 17 years, but this was the first time I went. I decided that it was about time to try it out, and because Paul Thomas Anderson had a movie out that I knew was going to get some love, I told myself that that was the reason that I was going to go. That was my mission, to meet him, and so I went there with that intention in the front of mind. Of course, I got to meet other people, but I staked out the one battle after another table for most of the night until it actually happened. I wore a little Paul Thomas Anderson lapel pin as a way to maybe break the ice. I was trying to figure out any way possible.
That was smart.
Because there's some talent there that's easy to get to, and then there's some talent there that there's no way you're going to get to them. They're like either like boxed in. A couple of them had bodyguards. Not too many of them, but there was a couple that you could tell that there was like a huge guy behind them. It's like, no, you're not going to get through here. So anyway, I staked out that table for a while, and 30 seconds before the show was going to begin, they were like, everybody take your seats, the show's going to start, and I hadn't met him yet. So I took my lapel pin off, and I left it next to where his table was. I left it next to the lady that was sitting next to him. Well, he wasn't there, of course. And I said, hey, I'm going to leave my pin here for Paul, and I'm going to come back and get it sometime during the night, if that's cool. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And she's like, is that Paul's face on? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I left, and then maybe like 30 minutes later during the commercial break, I came by, and there was way too many people around that area. So there was no way I was going to be able to get through. And then so I came back to my table, and then maybe 30 minutes later I went back, and then finally he was there, and like I had a straight beeline to him. I went for it, and I got to shake his hand, tell him how much his work has meant to me over the past 25 years, and took a photo with him, and yep, that was it. So I mean, everything else was bonus that night, including all the wine I drank.
Benicio
was there.
Bonus.
I got to meet Adam Sandler. I got to meet Mia Goth.
And by the way, just so people know this, like
Chloe Zhao.
this is part of the sort of tradition of this festival. Is like in between the commercial breaks and stuff, the critics are going around and like mixing and mingling with the talent. Like this is not Kiko going rogue. Like this is something that everyone does.
Yeah, something everybody does. Some more than others. I mean, all the people in LA don't really. I was sitting next to a young woman who lives in LA, and she's been a entertainment journalist for a really long time, and she didn't get up at all. Like she was just, but because she's always talking to people. I mean, she's there.
Yeah. Well, and her favorite director wasn't, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You've been able to go many years. It just happened to be that also your favorite director of all time had a huge movie at the time. So it's like, you got to shoot your shot.
Definitely. So that's what I did. I shot my shot, and hopefully I get to go back again. I'd like to go every year, but it's just, I don't have a home base outlet that I write for. So it's costs a pretty penny to get out there.
Yeah, no one's funding your trip.
Yes, exactly. And then
I was curious what you called him. I called Tarantino Mr. Tarantino when I met him, but you.
Oh, really? Oh, no, Paul. I said Paul. I said Paul, but I mean, maybe I should have. I think if I met Spielberg, I would say Mr. Spielberg.
Right.
I wouldn't call him Steven or Steve.
Yeah.
I think because we're only 10 years apart, so it doesn't feel too like
Paul. And that's such a good name.
Grandpa Spielberg.
Yeah. Grandpa. Anyway, so yeah, we were my wife and I were talking about next year because she wanted to go this year, and then we were like, because we have a trip planned for my daughter's birthday at the end of this year. We're planning it, so that's going to be some cash that we're going to have to dole out. So we're like, this is going to be really expensive if we both go. So she's like, okay, well, you go do your thing with Paul, and we'll talk about it for next year to see if we can swing it. Because again, unless I have an angel investor out there that wants to pay my way, then yeah.
You need a sugar daddy. Exactly.
There, I can find one in LA sometime, somewhere.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, it was a great experience. I hope to do it again soon. It went by really quick, but it was really awesome. And then he won. So he won Best Director. I yelled way too hard. It was like it was a Spurs game, and they just hit the game winner in Game 7. And then he won Best Picture as well. So that's pretty cool. And one more real quick thing. It was so cool because you go in there and like there's all these people. And one, I won't call him a celebrity because he's a producer. So not many people knew him, but he came up to me. He knew who I was. So I thought that was really cool. And it's the producer of Sinners.
Oh, wow.
He follows me on Facebook. His name's Sev. And he made Missing, Cody. Do you remember that one?
Is that...
I remember that.
Is
that
with
the social media thing?
TV or the computer screen movie?
Yes, with John Cho.
Yeah.
So the director of that does more producing now. But
cool.
I walked into this one side of the room and he pointed at me. He's like, Kiko, and I was like, oh crap. And I recognized them, but then I was like, oh wow, he's like, oh man, I love following your stuff. And he's like, oh cool. And so like we hung out a little bit. But I thought that was pretty neat.
But Benicio didn't come for the small beer that you suggested that you invited him for.
I'm sure that he heard that many times already. But I did ask him after I took a picture with him and shook his hand. I said, well, maybe after the award ceremony we can have a couple of a few small beers later. And he laughed, but it didn't come to fruition, unfortunately.
I love him for laughing at that. That's so sweet. Because,
Yeah.
Like you said, he probably has heard that a million
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there it is. We'll see what happens again. But yeah, good times.
Super cool.
Well, so we will go ahead and move forward, and there's going to be some other stuff to talk about here that we're going to be doing outside of that, and we just had Kiko and I I don't know if you voted yet, but the Houston Film Critics Awards. We did our nominations, and I put in my ballot, so we'll have that to talk about too in terms of when the winners are announced. They announce the nominees, but we'll kind of just wait for the winners to talk about it. But so again, today, no reviews, but we are going to be talking about our top 10 films of 2025. Just talking about it generally. I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, but in putting together my list, I found it interesting because I think this year was stronger than previous years in a sense of consistency. I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I liked this year, and then not a whole lot of cream of the crop stuff that I loved, but I feel like it was consistently solid throughout the year. I don't know if either of you had any trouble making your list or what you thought about the year total, but I thought it was solid, just very little that kind of bubbled to the surface. In fact, it's one of the years where I feel like my number one movie is not one that would make my top of the decade list, even in the top 10. But I don't know, Kiko, what were your thoughts on the year overall?
I'm always, I don't know. In the past 10 years, I've just always been disappointed every year. I mean, there's usually maybe 10 movies that I really would ask people to watch if they had time. But this year, the only two of the movies that I chose were A minuses in my grading scale. So everything else
I think
was a B+.
2 or 3 for me as well.
Yeah. So I mean, it was fine. It was fine. I wanted to ask you, Cody. I mean, because in the past maybe 5 years, I'm guessing you watch more movies than me because you go to more film festivals. So you probably see 40, 50 movies at a given time. Do you ever okay? So say I saw 250 movies this past year and you saw 350. Out of those 100 movies that you saw based on all the festivals, do you normally see something that's in the conversation to make your top 10?
Yes. So
okay.
So interestingly, let's see here. If I look at my list, let me tell you this. I can tell you that I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my 10 I saw at a festival this year. And
but they still had a theatrical release.
They had a theatrical release. I had to remove 2 movies that have not come out yet that would have made my top 10 that I saw at festivals.
Because they're going to be considered 2026
releases, yeah. Okay. So definitely. And there's movies like and I think maybe my stance had softened or something like that, but do you remember a movie there was the movie Pleasure that came out a few years ago that was about like a woman who like started in the adult film industry, and it was like a super graphic but like really interesting movie. Yeah. Like that movie I saw at Sundance the first year they did virtual. It was 2021, I think. And that movie would have made my top 10 had it come out that year, but it didn't come out that year. So it got pushed to the following year, and then there were 10 movies I liked better. But
did it land anywhere or something like that?
In terms of like distribution?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, interestingly, it was out of Sundance. It was purchased by A24, and then they actually sold it to Neon because A24 wanted to edit it to R-rated, and Neon was willing to release it unrated. So they switched hands. So it ended up coming out via Neon that year. But like this year, I would have absolutely had Nirvana the band, the movie, or excuse me, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie on my list. That'll come out in February, but that would have definitely been on my list in my top 10 this year, and we'll talk about it in a couple of months here. And then there was one other that I had to remove. I can't remember what it was, but it was a movie I saw at Fantastic Fest called. Hold on one second, let me get the name of it. I think it was called The Holy Boy. That I saw. That was one of my favorite things I saw at Fantastic Fest, but it did not end up coming out this year. So I had to hold off on it. But yeah, that happens pretty regularly, actually, especially now that I'm doing Sundance every year. There's I think 3 movies on my list that I saw in Sundance in January that ended up holding strong throughout the whole year. So yeah.
Well, like I always tell you, we normally share a movie brain. So when you see stuff, when you see your 50 movies, I say, hey, what's worth my time?
Yeah.
So which is why, like, I remember one of the most recent examples is Mass. When you saw Mass at a film festival. So you're like, out of the 50 movies, Mass and whatever else was the best thing. So I watched Mass and I fell in love with that film.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I usually flew me into it, but you didn't mention either of those to me.
Which one?
The Holy Boy or the Nirvana.
Oh, well, there's no way for you to see them. So
I know, but still, usually after the festival, you're like, oh, I can't wait for you to see this one and this one.
Yeah, so The Holy Boy is coming out. I think Shudder picked it up, and Shudder picked it up, and it'll come out in 2026 via Shudder.
Is it a horror?
Yeah. It's kind of it's this horror movie about it's like a religious horror movie that's really like super cool and really well done.
So Holy with a Holy, not a. I mean, yeah, with not a W. I was like, I thought he had holes in him. I'm sorry.
HOLEY?
Yes.
No. It is not The Holy Boy.
I will say, I think it was easier to make the top 10 list this year, but I really struggled with best versus favorite. Like there was a lot of good movies that came out this year that I just didn't necessarily like.
Yeah, that's always tough.
Or want to say that it was my top 10 favorite of the year. And so, yeah, I talked about that with Cody about like, what are we doing? Are we doing favorite or the best films of the year?
Yeah,
because the best doesn't necessarily mean they're rewatchable.
Well,
that too. I don't think I've seen Citizen 4 a second time. No, I've seen Citizen 4 twice. I don't think I've revisited Citizen 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't revisited Collective or.
I'm not watching Conclave again.
I've watched Conclave multiple times.
Yeah. I've seen Conclave
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, what I was told, Jocelyn, and I think this is kind of, I mean, it's your list is your list. You get to do whatever you want with it. But what I try to do is my lower 10, 9, 8, I try to save for my favorites, the stuff that I really like would go back to, rewatchable, most enjoyable. And then my top stuff is usually going to be the best stuff that I watch, regardless.
I did the opposite, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, and you're entitled to make it however you want. So, but what we're going to do here is we're going to go in order of 10 to 1. If one of us has it the highest on our list, they'll kick off the conversation about it, but we're all going to talk about each movie individually And even if it didn't make our list, maybe it made our honorable mentions, and we'll go through maybe some honorable mentions at the end. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kick us off with my number 10 this year, which was Zodiac Killer Project. So, I usually try to save my number 10 spot for like a wild card. A lot of times, like I put documentaries in the slot, which is what this is. And this is a movie that I ended up choosing. It was between this and one other. So just as one of my honorable mentions, my number 11 would have been the movie Ephus, a baseball movie. But I ended up going with Zodiac Killer Project. And basically, this movie is one that I saw at Sundance last January. So I've only seen it once, just a year ago. And it's this documentary about a filmmaker who basically like had the rights to a book about this law enforcement person who pursued the Zodiac killer, and he was going to adapt the book into a true crime documentary movie. And at like the 11th hour, when he's a British guy, he was in America scouting locations, trying to figure out, in pre-production of the movie, the family pulled the rights to the book and said, you cannot make this anymore. And so what he ended up doing was making a documentary with like B-roll footage that he was shooting in prep, and ended up like narrating over all of the footage, describing the documentary that he would have made. And he's talking about like what he would have made, but then he uses it as like a way to also serve as a commentary on the true crime documentary sort of like genre. And sort of explores the sort of sameness of true crime documentaries, the sort of formulaic style they have. He explores the sort of exploitation that it has built into it. And the reason I chose it is because this is so unlike anything I would ever like. It's almost like a video essay more than it is a movie, where, I mean, it really is just like B-roll footage and narration, and like that's it. But the narration to me is so funny. It's so sharp. It's so dry. It's very British type humor. I think the commentary on true crime is like really well done. I think he makes a lot of really great points, again, about like the sameness of stuff. He even like shows like opening credits for all the true crime stuff and how it all looks the same and stuff like that. He talks about the tropes of it all. And I just found myself just like, I saw this at Sundance like late at night. It was the last movie of the night that I had, and I was just like giggling throughout the movie at just like how funny it was. And so I ended up putting it on my list because it's such a unique experience. And I just loved it. And so, Jocelyn, I know you didn't see it, but Kiko, you saw it, and I think it was one of the movies I said like, hey, maybe watch this one and just see what you think. I think you had a slightly different reaction than I did to it.
Yeah, and I have to really dig into my brain to remember exactly how I felt watching it, but I just it was different. I mean, I'll give it that. I've never seen anything like it before in terms of like a cinema mixed with true crime narrative. So I'll give it that. I couldn't get past, the what if scenarios and him kind of just like going off and, well,
like describing
if I had done it this way, it reminded me of that, like when OJ wrote his book, like if I had killed her.
Done it, yeah.
Well, the thing that I really like about it is that he's also like, he doesn't have the rights to the book, so he's sort of like tiptoeing across the book the whole time. So he can't talk about the specifics. So he's like giving you a little bit and then saying like, I can't really give you more here, but this is maybe what it would look like. And I just think it's just like a fascinating. Like you said, I've never seen anything like it where someone talks about what could have been. Like there's that Jodorowsky's Dune movie, if you recall that documentary about like the Dune movie that never was. And I always think that those are really interesting, like what could have been, what if kind of scenarios. But just a really enjoyable thing. It's out on streaming now. You can find it on like VOD. But a really enjoyable experience.
You sold it. I'm excited to see it.
I tried to get you to watch it because I know you're a true crime junkie. So.
I know, and I had so many things that I was trying to rewatch and get on the list for the favorites that it slipped the cracks. But I'm going to go back and watch it.
If you watch it and it you can retroactively make your mind up about it. But so let's jump ahead and we'll go to Kiko. And Kiko, what was your number 10?
So for my number 10, I put The Life of Chuck,
Yes.
which was Mike Flanagan's. He directed and he adapted it from Stephen King's novella.
Mm-hmm.
I usually save this number 10 slot for something that's more mainstream that I really enjoyed and that maybe not everybody else did. That's usually what happens. Like I put like one of the Planet of the Apes films a couple of years ago in it. It was the one that was more Shakespearean than the other ones. And so yeah, for this one, it kind of fell into my lap because I have this policy where if a film gets me to the brink, or not brink, it has to make me cry, it's going to somehow end up on my top 10. And this is one of the ones that are the only one actually of the year that made me cry. And I think I saw somebody else. This isn't landing on anybody's top 10 lists of the year. I mean, I think I saw it maybe once or twice in other critics' top 10s. But one person I saw really captured it the same way that I felt. And it's just because this movie came at the perfect time in their lives, where it's just like they watched it and everything, all the themes and everything that were happening in this film were happening to them. So I think that's where I fall into that. It's not a perfect film. There's a lot of there's narrative glitches in it that I noticed the second time I saw it. But there's just something about the heart of it that I really enjoyed, and it really touched me like on a deeper level. And I think everybody's the same way with specific movies. I mean, some people are, it's just like this, instead of the spectacle, it's just like really hopeful. A lot of people are saying, it's like, this life affirming thing. I've heard that a lot. And I just thought Flanagan made some really interesting choices in telling the story backwards, and how it starts as almost about the end of the world, and how this one guy Chuck is kind of tied into that, and what his life is about, and how it kind of ties into the entire universe. So in a very sprawling way, with a very nice collection of relationships. So I just think, again, like that other critic said, it just came at the right time in my life, where just thinking about things and stuff like that just like hit me really hard. So Life of Chuck, number 10 for me.
Yeah, and I think for me personally, I had those narrative issues you talk about. I think is the one that plagued me, and I really wanted to like this because I really like Mike Flanagan. I love his stuff. I love all of his. I love Dr. Sleep. I love a lot of his Netflix stuff, and I think he's a super talented guy. He adapts Stephen King really well, obviously, but yeah, I just like. I don't know. I'm not here to shit on a movie that you liked. So
I thought you liked it. You just didn't love it.
I had that problem where I feel like the third act feels so disconnected from the first two that I feel like it just doesn't. And also I have that thing where like the only thing that we really get to know about Chuck is like this one day in his life, and then everything else is about different shit. And
you mean adult Chuck?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Did you see it, Jocelyn?
No, it sounds like Big Fish a little bit, though. Is it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Similar vibes to Big Fish.
But again, it starts with the end of his life and works its way back to the childhood, or not even the end of his life. It's like the end of the world, I guess, without giving too much away.
Well, yeah, no, I think it starts off with like a cataclysmic event that eventually like narrows its scope down to an individual's impact, I guess is the best way to say it.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So Jocelyn, let's go ahead and talk about your number 10, but we're not going to get entirely into it because this will pop up later. But what was your number 10?
Someone has it higher, obviously. It's No Other Choice, the South Korean movie. That it just really blew me away. From one of my favorite directors, who, I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen Old Boy. And I remember watching that, almost 20 years ago, and just being just incredibly blown away, like I said. And I really need to see more of his movies because I hear there's even other ones that I've missed that are excellent.
Yeah.
And after this, it's just like, why haven't I seen more of his movies? He's just such a powerful director, and he has just such a clear message that he's trying to deliver, basically, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just really enjoyed it.
What have you seen? What other films have you seen?
Honestly, probably just Old Boy.
Well, I think the one, and I guess we'll kind of save this to talk about it in a minute, but
Sure.
I would say like The Handmaiden is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The Handmaiden is great. I also really like Decision to Leave from a couple years ago.
I heard a couple people talking about that, and I think that's the next one I'm going to try.
Yeah, but I would absolutely watch The Handmaiden. It was that one is really great.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. It will appear higher. And then we'll go ahead and get into number 9. So my number 9 is one that I will hold off on because it will appear higher on other lists, which was the Josh Safdie movie Marty Supreme. So I will hold off on that because it's going to come up a little bit later, as is Kiko's number 9. If you want to go ahead and
my number 9 was the only documentary on my list, and that's The Perfect Neighbor, a true crime story shot through camera footage from the police officers' cams.
Body cams.
Body cams. Yeah. So that wasn't my number 9, but I'm guessing it's a little bit higher on yours, but we'll go.
It is a little higher on mine. Spoilers, but we will get into that in a minute. But Jocelyn, I believe you have a unique number 9 that is not on anyone else's list. So why don't you go ahead and let us know about your number 9?
I'm really happy to talk about this one. Sorry, Baby by Eva Victor.
That's okay. What is it?
No, that's the yes, you got me. Who's on first? So I just think this was such an incredible first time, filmmaker movie from Eva Victor. Where do I even start? I'm really excited to see that it is gaining traction after Julia Roberts gave it a big shout out at the Golden Globes, because I feel like it hasn't gotten a lot of attention, and I had been seeing people talking about it here and there, and I wasn't sure what to expect. It was giving me a lot of like Miranda July vibes, and a little bit also Fleabag, like Phoebe Waller. Thank you, Phoebe
Waller.
Phoebe
That's not the end of it.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
There you go.
Boom. So it was giving me a mix of those two other female, filmmakers and voices, I guess you can say. It was, it's done so well. It's about a very, serious subject, and the way that she handles it, and the beautiful way that she kind of portrays what her character is going through is just really moving. And God, there's so many beautiful moments, but one in particular, there's a chapter about a sandwich that I was like, what is happening? And I just was sitting there like, wow, this is so enjoyable and nice and just like really well done. And that's all you want in a good movie, is just something that's like nice and kind of funny, kind of sad. And I guess that's to say just kind of beautiful. It just felt really beautiful to me. So I really loved this movie.
Yeah, and this is a movie that I saw at Sundance last year. It was actually basically the most hyped up movie of Sundance last year. And I think ultimately for me, perhaps like a little bit of a victim of the hype, where I feel like it fell a little... It
doesn't live up to that, yeah.
A little bit for me. I think it's like a really solid personal story that I feel like narratively falls a little short for me, and is a little bit thin. But I still think it's like a really great, like you look at debut films, and I feel like it's a really solid debut film of a very like
strong voice.
So
I'm excited to see what she does next.
Yeah,
and I agree with you.
I gave it a B, so I liked it. But
no, I do agree with you. But the small things really kind of added up for me. And like I said, even just this one chapter about a sandwich, where I was really I was rolling my eyes about it, because it's so, kind of precious to do that. And then for it to just turn out the way that it did without any like major fireworks, it's just really kind of cool, I think. So, yeah.
I really hope that you brought up Miranda July, and as I was watching Sorry Baby, I thought of her as well.
Really?
Me and you and everyone we know, I remember when that came out, that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought, man, this movie's really good. I didn't love it, but I can't wait to see what her next thing is. And then she ended up like only making 1 or 2 other movies. So I really hope that that doesn't happen to.
Well, she has a new book that's supposed to be excellent. So she's doing other things. But I think it's like all these like these women artists who are quirky, and they're just really kind of doing things that are different and that are totally themselves, and it's nice to see. And I'm glad that there are these avenues that they're able to do it, because previously, how often would there be a female director who's able to write and direct her first movie, and she's what, before she's like 30 years old, at least before she's 40. So it's very nice to see.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right. And so let's go ahead and move on to our number 8s. Now, my number 8 is something that we will talk about in more depth now, because my number 8 is No Other Choice, which was Jocelyn's number 10. And again, this is the Park Chan-wook movie. Right. I just, for me personally, I think that this movie is like a great satire. I think like South Korea does satire. I said this to Jocelyn. I think South Korea does satire better than anyone at this point. I feel like this is like a really interesting companion piece to Parasite, interestingly enough, I feel like these feel like they're cut from the same cloth. Really, No Other Choice is a satire.
Cut from the same paper.
Yeah, thank you. Nice work.
Opposite side of the same page.
Yeah.
We got to do the paper references because it's about a paper industry, which I also thought was funny because it reminded me of, it was giving kind of Office vibes as like the industry dying.
Yeah, but it is about a guy from the paper industry who ends up losing his job, and ultimately the sort of like industry is in sort of a flux, and so he knows that he's going to be competing with a bunch of other people to get rehired somewhere, and so what he ends up doing is deciding to create a list of people to kill in order to make him the most
in a creative way as well.
Yeah,
he pretends to be recruiting them, which I thought was also sort of fascinating.
Yeah, and he ends up trying to kill them basically to kill off the competition, so he is the most sort of best suited person for any future jobs that may pop up. So it's this great commentary on sort of like capitalism, and a great commentary on sort of like the job market and the economy. Mm-hmm. It's a great commentary on like, obviously the satire of how far you would go to like make sure and ensure that you're the best candidate for the job.
And then the inept murderer is never a boring thing to see. Like that's always going to bring some laughs to have like an inept criminal.
Yeah, and that's the thing that surprised me most about this movie, is that it's very, very funny, and it's very, very like dark humor. But like, there was stuff I was laughing out loud at. I think it has a great performance from Lee Byung-hun, who I think most people would know from, I think he's from Squid Game, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's a great performance there. It's also got some like great family dynamics between him and his wife. I'm
glad you mentioned that. The wife was honestly one of my favorite parts, because she could have been just a side character, just some bitchy woman who's, upset that he lost his job, or all those other, sort of tropes. And she is one of my favorite parts of the film. She's like so like clear, like it's a full character. She's partaking in the chaos, and she's giving it back to him many times, which I was really happy to see, and laughing along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, this is my favorite international movie of the year, for me personally, out of everything that I saw. So, between all the entries, there's going to be one that comes up, I think, later in the episode. But for me, I like this a little bit more. And again, like Park Chan-wook is a great director. Again, I urge people to check out, his last film, Decision to Leave, which is great. The Handmaiden is great. Obviously, Old Boy has a long-standing reputation. I just like really great satire that's really cutting and really funny. But Jocelyn, do you have anything to add that you didn't get to talk about earlier?
Nope, I interjected my opinion whenever it was ready. But honestly, I'm really glad that you mentioned the wife, because that was something that sort of surprised me halfway through, where there's one part where he's like feeling like really down on himself, and he's like, "You're just so pretty," and she's like, "You're handsome too, you idiot. Like, stop like feeling sorry for yourself." And it was just so funny, because usually you wouldn't see a woman just kind of like throwing it back in someone's face. Mm-hmm. So she's written really well. The actress is amazing. The whole thing was great. Like the whole family dynamics, everything just felt really chaotic and a lot of fun.
Yeah. Kiko, you not on your list, obviously, but was this one that you enjoyed?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I had fun watching it, and I think the director, I've seen when I'm going down his his filmography, I didn't realize that I've seen a lot of his stuff, and I don't know if it all like there's like a connective tissue to it. Maybe a couple of them.
Well, he did a lot of revenge movies.
Right. Well, yeah. At the beginning,
maybe I like this one because it's so much like Old Boy, like very like violent and kind of in your face, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, but I enjoyed this. I think I give it like a solid B from my end. So
yeah. All right, cool. So then let's go ahead and go to Kiko. You're number 8.
Yeah, we'll just touch on it because it's of course
it's going to be higher up,
on somebody else's. But
my number 8 on multiple people's actually.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, my number 8 was Frankenstein. So I thinking about it, I got a chance to watch it a couple of times, and yeah, there's more than anything. I mean, it's just a beautiful film aesthetically. I just I can't stop thinking about certain scenes and how they pulled some things off. And Guillermo del Toro is just really a visionary director. So
yeah,
but yeah, we can talk about it later.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So let's go ahead and move on to Jocelyn's number 8, which we'll talk about now because this is Kiko, your number 7, and so let's just roll it on in. So Jocelyn, you're number 8.
Yes. I have Sinners at number 8. I just think, even though I had some issues with it, the ending wasn't my favorite. There's just no way that it can't be, one of the top films of the year. Like the first half, yeah.
What ending? The shoot 'em up ending?
I hate the shootout. Yeah, I wish it had ended once the vampires and the sun rose and they had cleaned it. They had tidied it up a little, tied a little bow a little earlier.
Right.
But I'm not gonna fault it. It does so many other things perfectly, and the cinematography. I mean, I was sitting in the theater like, wow, this is incredible. And for that alone, I feel like it deserves to be in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I was talking to my wife about this earlier, and she really loved it. And she's like, why isn't it higher in your list? And I always go back to the thing, like, I just, at the end of the day, it is a vampire movie, and I'm usually sometimes I'm just like even I brought up a movie like No Country for Old Men. I think I was angry that year because it beat There Will Be Blood for Best Picture, and I was like, I was yelling about it, and I was like, but it's just
like a horror movie, like a murder.
No, it's just like a money suitcase, money in a suitcase movie, and there's dozens and dozens of those. But then you have to think, well, it's probably the best money in a suitcase movie ever made, so you have to give it that. Anyway,
money in a suitcase movie.
I brought up the ending because I'm the same way with the shoot 'em up part, but I was like at a solid like B all the way through the movie. It was just really, really good. I thought it was like really entertaining, and then that after credits scene just took me over the top. I love the way that
was so cool.
I just love the way that wrapped up. But yeah,
also to have just going, like a completely unique IP, like Ryan wrote this, and just I love that we still have people out there who have a vision and bring it through to fruition, and it can be like this incredible. And Michael P. Jordan is just great in it. I mean, playing 2 characters. Amanda, what is it? Josh Allen's wife.
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld. What did I say, Amanda? Yeah. Haley Steinfeld is also incredible in it. There's so much good in this movie that it's just like it can't not be on a top 10 list for sure.
Yeah.
It can be because it's not on mine. But
where did you land on this one?
I liked it fine. I think
honorable mention.
Yeah, I think I had some problems with like I don't think that the 2 characters from Michael B. Jordan really works for me because I don't feel like they're like different enough.
Well, I had that problem too, but
and I
got over it.
I also don't really care for the vampire elements of it, which is such a big part of it.
Oh my gosh, really?
Well,
I love that it was like the Irish immigrants against like in the South and the music that they were playing. And okay, sorry, I think that's so cool.
Yeah, again, I mean, the vampire stuff was fine. I wish the only problem I had with the vampire stuff was that I wish they had left out all the cliche vampire stuff.
I don't know. Yeah. Just that, like, I'm thinking of that scene where you finally see them act like vampires, and like someone just kind of shoots off the screen, and you're just like, ugh, and it cuts right away, and you're just like, oh crap.
I did like the scene where they make each other eat the garlic.
Yeah. Okay. Now you're reminding
I mean,
me
it
of,
hits
like, some
every
of the
fucking
things
trope
that
in
I'm
the
like,
book. But
yeah, literally,
yeah.
it really does.
All right, so let's go ahead and go on to our number 7s. So my number 7 is a movie that, so this is super rare, where I watch a movie this early in the year that holds on my top 10 the entire year because I can't shake how much that I liked it. It'll happen at a festival, but that's a different thing because Sundance is in January, South by is in March, but they're not actually coming out until later in the year. But this is a movie that came out in January of last year that just stuck with me the entire year, and I ended up there was every chance for a movie to overtake it, and it never did, which is Companion. The movie written and directed by Drew Hancock, basically about, and this movie's been out for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and spoil the plot of it, but it's about a guy who ends up having relationship issues with his girlfriend who he takes on vacation, and ultimately what is revealed is that his girlfriend is a robot, and sort of ends up sort of having some issues with her programming that happens throughout it, and it's just this great relationship comedy that is really sort of, it's like a sci-fi thriller, but it's also super, super funny. It features a great performance from Sophie Thatcher, who I think is playing multiple levels of this robot who is discovering information as time goes on. It features a great shithead performance from Jack Quaid.
Dude, Jack Quaid,
he's the best.
I could not believe how good he was. He's great.
Yeah, Jack Quaid is the real deal. I love seeing him. I mean, we also saw, I think this movie came out this year, and it was not a resonant movie entirely, but he was also in that movie about the guy who can't feel pain. What the fuck is that movie called? I don't remember what that movie's called. Novocaine. Where it's another great performance from him, where it's just I just want to see more Jack Quaid because he's so talented.
Yeah.
And
give me more Jack Quaid and less Glenn Powell. Sorry.
He's in a really he's in a
fair.
really good romantic comedy too with Maya Erschling, whatever, the girlfriend.
Oh, I haven't heard of
15. Oh, they're so cute together.
Oh.
I can't remember what it was, but anyway.
Yeah, but this movie is just it's just it's just such a clever movie. It's just extremely clever in the dialogue, in the ideas of it, in its exploration of relationships, in its sci-fi elements, in the way that the story pans out. This is again, we very rarely get a January movie this good, and it's very rare that it ends up holding up throughout the year. And I've seen this movie multiple times, and so I know that it stands up. And I just had so much fun with this movie. I think it's so entertaining. I think it's so clever. It's so funny. And I can't deny it a spot this high up because it's the movie that I've maybe thought about some of the most out of anything in my top 10. So I'm very happy to put it this high up because I think it's just an awesome movie.
You're going to be mad why I don't think it's as good. I think I looped it into Megan territory. I think it came out too closely to Megan, and I was kind of connecting the two too much.
Interesting.
To be able to separate them and enjoy them because Megan's not great.
Companion
is very good though.
I went into Companion not knowing anything about it.
Yeah.
Other than the front of the movie poster. So her eye, I think, has something wrong.
Her
with
eyes
it.
are white. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was a possession movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when the reveal happens, it threw me back. I was like, what the? So I thought that was a really good surprise. And my favorite part of the movie, I liked Companion a lot. My favorite part of the movie is how pissed off she is when she realizes how little intelligence he gave her.
Yeah.
I think that was a really nice touch.
But it just does so much clever stuff. Again, she's confronted by the cops at one point, but then again, her intelligence is at 10 by that point. And so she basically just switches her programming to German and ends up because she can't lie in the movie. And so she ends up telling the cop everything, but in German, so he can't understand. And again, it's just subtle touches like that where it's just so well thought through. And I just love I love how clever the script is. And again, you just have Jack Quaid in total shithead mode, and he's so good at it. He's just like you said, Like you said, more Jack Quaid, less Glenn Powell. I mean, I like Glenn Powell, but like Jack Quaid, I think is like super talented, and I think can like do anything at this point, and he's so charismatic. And that's the whole thing about his performance. It's so fun is that he's an asshole, but he's super charismatic, and so like it just plays really well throughout the course of the movie. So definitely, if you have not seen this movie, I think it's on HBO Max right now. Give it a shot, watch it. It's a great sci-fi that's like really clever, has great comedic elements to it, great performances, not your average January movie whatsoever. Just a really fun movie. Kiko, we're skipping your 7 because we just talked about it with Sinners. So Jocelyn, go ahead and talk about your number 7.
No one else has this on the list, huh?
No, this was in my honorable mentions.
Honorable mention.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I have Weapons at number 7. I mean, everybody has heard. I have it because I went in not knowing anything, thinking that I was going to be traumatized because it was like missing children type of a thing, and I was literally not looking forward to it. And then just having like a blast in the movie theater, like alone with a crowd full of people. And there's like the particular scene where it's like some scissors in a car, and there's like a fake out moment, and everyone in the theater started just like they screamed and then laughed, and I was like looking around thinking like, oh my god, I'm so happy. This is like exactly what I want this to be. Like this is the movie that I want to be here. But then not only that, but there's like excellent filmmaking. Like there's that scene with the junkie, and there's like a car chase with the police officer where I'm like, man, what did I do to deserve this movie? Like this is so fun and great. So yeah, I think it was one of my favorite in theater experiences of the year. So I just was happy to recommend it to people, and then have those people come back and be like, wow, what the heck was that? And then a lot of people I think have a problem with the ending, and I love the ending. I just think it just goes like to 11. It's like Spinal Tap, like they're like, these speakers go to 11. The kids are like chasing her through the
Whoever has a
homes.
problem with the ending is crazy, because that ending is
Right?
really, really great.
Well, I think
Like,
my problem
just-
with the
yeah.
problem with the ending is that I feel like it's so disconnected from the first bits of the movie, where it like introduces this new character who becomes the center of the movie that is like nowhere near the first few chapters of the movie. That was my problem with it. But I will
just
say this.
enjoyed the spectacle of it all, where it's like just sit back and enjoy.
I mean,
that
yeah,
it's
and
just-
and I this was a movie that improved upon rewatch for me. I watched it a second time, and I had a lot more fun with it. And Zach Cregger is obviously like super talented, and I think it has a lot of like great performances throughout the movie. And again, like Amy Madigan right now is like probably the front runner at this point for Best Supporting Actress in a weak category this year. She might be kind of one of the front runners here, and I think her part is great. I just feel it's just so disconnected from everything that came before it, but it is super effective. It is well done. But I think that there's just like one or two things that just don't really work for me. I feel like there's that whole like spinning gun metaphor thing that I feel like is sort of like disconnected for me, that I don't really.
maybe just stylistically they were just.
Yeah, I didn't get the gun thing
something.
either, but I didn't really think about it too much. I mean, I assumed that it had to do with the mass shootings and things like that, but I didn't really sit down and like dissect it as much as maybe
That's
other
fair.
people.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our 6s. So my number 6, again, a movie I saw at a festival, which is Friendship, the movie starring Tim Robinson in the lead role with Paul Rudd, a movie that is the funniest movie of the year, in my opinion, a movie that I saw at South by Southwest and just like could not believe how incredibly funny it was. I still think that the scene that happens at Subway is the funniest thing I've seen all year.
Yep.
Just like it is, and I will say this. I said this on the episode. I will say this again. I think it's the best and funniest drug trip scene of all time. It's just so fucking funny, and like again, as I said this when we talked about it. Tim Robinson is an acquired taste. I feel like there are many people who find him to be extremely funny and one of the funniest people out there. And if you are one of those people, you should watch this movie immediately because this is pure Tim Robinson. It is, I think you should leave his show in movie form. And yeah, just a movie that I just found endlessly enjoyable. And I give extra points to this a little bit because it's one of my favorite theatrical experiences of the year as well. You know, I saw this at South by. The screening was electric. People were like laughing their asses off, you know, to the point where you couldn't hear stuff that was happening afterwards. And it's also got this like really dark streak to it that I feel like is really enjoyable. Like it's got this dark comedy element, but you know, it just is like Tim Robinson at level 10. And I happen to find him extremely funny. And this movie is just so much fun and one of my most enjoyable experiences of the year.
It's funny that you brought up the festival experience because I didn't see it at a festival, but I saw it at of course, an Alamo Draft House, like on a random Thursday night or something like that. I was late to it, but it had the same feel. Like even the guys that went in there, I think it was a bunch of like bros, you know. So, I mean, everybody was hooting and hollering and falling out of their chairs and laughing. And you know me, when it comes to like theater experience, I don't give it as much credence as most critics. But it was a fun watch because of everybody else just acting silly in it as well. So and that subway scene is way too funny for its own good. I'm sorry.
It's the thing about like, you know, there's stuff that you watch at a festival and you're like, fuck, I can't talk about this with anyone for months until it comes out. And that was the one thing where I was like, I cannot wait to talk about this scene with people because it's just like if you tried to describe it to someone, they'd be like, I don't understand. But then when you see it in the movie, it's the most anticlimactic, funniest thing ever. It's just so good. So I mean, that scene alone puts it in my top 10, but like the grand total of everything has it at number 6 for me. So Kiko, you are next. You're number 6, and you can talk about this one because you are
I'm only the lonely. Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite or my number 6 on my list is Surat. So it is. I think it's the third highest on my list. That's a foreign film, but I believe the director is French Spanish, and I want to say, where did this film come from? Is it?
I think it's French, right?
Is it French?
It is the submission for Spain.
Oh, it's a submission for Spain. Okay, so yeah, basically Surat, it follows this father and son. They're searching for their daughter and sister. They go into to Morocco. This woman is missing. Can't find her anywhere. So they think that she might be at this remote rave in the Moroccan desert, and so they're trying to look for her. They're going out with her picture. This community, mostly of like transients and ravers and these outsiders, asking where she's at. And this journey that they go on kind of just unfolds little by little as they try to look for their loved one. There's this really awesome techno soundtrack that kind of goes in and out of this film and keeps a pulse, and it's just a really interesting way that I that they put it together, I think. And it is Spanish. The director's name Oliver Lax. And so I thought that the narrative, it just it took you to some really devastatingly emotional places, and that soundscape that it created was just really intense. And then there's just things that happen in the film that just come out of left field, like, you know, this thing is just like, you know, going forward, and then all of a sudden, boom! It pops you in the nose, and something
Jocelyn,
happens.
don't watch.
Yes,
don't watch.
I know. I've already spoiled it for myself, and I'm just surprised as a parent that you're like able to.
Oh yeah, it's a tough watch at one specific scene because there's nothing you can do, right? And then there's another scene at the end where, you know, it seems like their journey is ending. And then just out of the blue or out of nowhere, this new like chapter unfolds, and it takes like a good 10 minutes to get through, and it's just like this really tense scene.
Interestingly, that's where the movie kind of lost me a little bit because it's
maybe
very
I'll spoil
repetitive.
it. Maybe I'll spoil it, Jocelyn. You haven't seen it, okay?
No,
so they're still looking for the girl, and they get to this like really desolate landscape, and you know, there's maybe like 5 or 6 of them together, right? Maybe 4 or 5 people, and so they start walking through this this part of the desert to try to get to these mountains, and one person just blows up. They step on a landmine, so the entire landscape is covered in landmines. So these last 4 or 5 people are trying to figure out how to get from one side to the other, and through the 10 minutes that it takes, just one by one, they get blown up. And it's just, I just thought
the
it was
remaining
incredible.
characters.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Basically, yeah.
They have a van. They have a couple of vehicles, so they.
Well, and I know the first spoiler, so I know that they're already down a few.
Yeah. So
Sounds
little
like
by little,
nightmare.
it is.
Well, I mean, I think so. I saw this at Fantastic Fest in September, and I didn't know anything going in. I will say the theater experience helps with like the techno soundtrack of it. It really uses sound to its advantage, especially in the first of that, part that you're talking about. But like, you very quickly figure out what's going on in that scene and what's going to happen in that scene, and it takes a really long time to unfold, and it gets kind of repetitive because you've kind of like clocked it. And I think that's where it loses me a little bit. I think it's a solid experience in a solid movie. But I think a lot of it is dependent on, one, your ability to handle punishment, and number two, just sort of like it is a little repetitive in my opinion. But
the casting, I hope that this lands on best casting, because best casting, this is the first time it's going to have a Oscar nomination.
Correct.
I want to say that this could have a chance, and it's just because
Possibly.
they pulled so many colorful and non-actors in this. I guess,
well, and
right?
and again, it is on the short list of the 15 movies eligible for the casting Oscar nomination. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. But I'm guessing you spoiled it, Jocelyn, with the little boy, right?
I had to, and the dog.
It's
God,
it's fucking traumatic.
Like,
I mean,
a child and a dog. Like,
as again, a punch in the mouth in that scene as this car starts rolling back, and I'm watching. I'm like, there's
surely they're not going to.
Exactly, and but in the same thought, I'm just like, that's it. There's nothing. Like, if I was in that situation, like, there's nothing you can do.
That sounds traumatizing to me.
It was pretty.
It's
it
crazy.
was a pretty tough watch. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and move forward to Jocelyn's number 6, which we will hold off on talking about because it will come up again a little bit later.
Someone had it before, and now me, and now someone has it ahead.
Yes.
Gee whiz. Are you ever going to get to talk in this thing?
Yeah, be unique like me. No, like this, like shit that nobody else likes.
Oh, I'm saving it for my number 1. I'm gonna go off on my number 1. Let me tell you.
All right. So what is your number 6?
So my number 6 is Marty Supreme.
All right, which we will get into in a minute. So my number 5 is a movie that I feel great about. I'm actually really surprised / disappointed this movie is not on Jocelyn's list, which is The Baltimoreans. Which is a movie that is by Jay Duplass, one half of the Duplass brothers, and it's the most charming movie of the year. It's just such a great experience. It is about a guy on Christmas Eve who ends up having like a dental emergency and ends up going to like an emergency dentist who is like an older woman. And she kind of fixes him up, and then through a series of events, they end up spending Christmas Eve together. And, he's a little bit avoidant because he's going through his stuff. She's a little bit avoidant because of like family life stuff. And they end up spending this time sort of like bonding, having fun, and going through like a mini Christmas Eve adventure together. And again, it's just like the most charming movie ever. It's got this great relationship between like a youngish guy and an older woman. Jocelyn, we talked about this on the show when we reviewed it, but like it like wins you over in a way that is like, this character is like very gregarious and kind of in your face and maybe like a little bit obnoxious, but then by the end of it, you are like totally loving the guy.
Took the words out of my mouth. I was like literally about to say won me over because I was like fighting this movie. I was like, being so cute. And
it's
this is good.
It's super charming. It's super enjoyable. It's really funny. It has a Duplass brothers feel to it. So it's the first time I think that Jay has directed on its own. It's the first time that any of the Duplass brothers have directed a movie in like 10 years. I think the Dodeca Pentathlon was the last movie one of them directed, or they directed together. And
what's with all these brothers breaking up?
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Like,
I
stop
don't
it.
know.
Just stick together,
I
guys.
think
Come
Mark
on.
is at least a producer on this, because I don't think that they fully,
For the Safdies,
consciously
it was
uncoupled.
A good thing, I think.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that.
it,
But but yeah, I think this is just a really enjoyable movie. It will enter into my Christmas movie rotation in the
For
future, I
sure.
think.
I agree.
Because it's just such a great. It's a Christmas Eve movie, but it's so charming, so enjoyable, funny. Has a great relationship at its core. Great performances. It's got this like streak of darkness throughout, but not to where it's like depressing, because it shows how people are overcoming their darkness through their connections with other people. And when you have a relationship like this that is like forced together and also has this like age gap and stuff like this, it's really hard for it to feel authentic. And I think this relationship feels totally authentic. And I think it's because the performances are so good. I just think that, like I said, it's just such a charming, enjoyable, funny movie that I just had so much fun watching it. I watched it a second time, and I was just like smiling the whole time I was watching it. And so so I saw this at South by Southwest and liked it. Second time I watched it, I was like, oh, I love this movie. This is so good. So like I said, I honestly thought it was going to be on Jocelyn's list.
So this and Friendship, kind of my one complaint about each is that they just kind of feel a little too small to be on the top, like the best of the year. Like they were definitely like.
Do you mean like slight?
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, slight I think is a better word for that. But really great movies, and I love them both. And like you said, that's definitely going to be in my Christmas rotation because it just makes you feel like cozy, and it's Baltimore at wintertime, so it's like kind of grimy and cool.
Yeah.
And they have this part where they like have to steal a car back from a tow truck company, and that was I think when the movie really started warming my heart a lot. It was like really fun.
Well, and then like the
just a little
scene,
slight, I think.
the scene where like he goes back to her ex-husband and stuff like that, and
I
like
know.
that scene is so good. And then Kiko, this was you were out when we reviewed this, but I think you watched this later in the year.
Yeah, I saw it at the end of the year. Just I wanted to make sure that I caught as much stuff that you had enjoyed. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it as much as you guys did, but it reminded me a lot of Harold and Maude. I'm not sure if anybody's ever seen that.
100%.
Kind of had a little bit of that kind of a touch, but
And Harold and Maude is like one of my
and Harold and
favorite
Maude's
movies, so.
a really sweet film. So I felt that spirit in it. But
Harold and Maude has more stylistic elements that make me love it more, though. It's like a little more kind of like Wes Anderson-y, kind of
like from
quirky
the
and cool, and so I think that's why that's what sets it over the edge.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Kiko's number 5, which you can just touch on because someone has this a little higher.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to review it in French too, because my number 5 is Nouvelle Vague, and so I can probably guess who the other person is on this. On this
Number
crew.
5 is pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty
let's
good.
go ahead and we'll spoil it. It's Jocelyn, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Jocelyn, your number 5, which you are alone on, but not by much, because this was in my honorable mentions, perhaps in Kiko's
Oh my
too.
God,
but
you
just
guys
missed
are
mine.
Hey,
crazy.
honorable mentions, really good.
Lanthimos, like one of the most, like he's like our Kubrick right now. He's just like turning out every year something crazier and weirder and better than the last year. I'm a huge fan of his. I'm just like, wow.
So to be clear, your number
Yes,
5 is
Begonia.
yes.
And I think especially because he's continuing to turn them out, and this one doesn't quite seem as weird as his others. I was sort of again going in just kind of apprehensive and just sort of not wanting to like it, and I was again blown away by him. I think Jesse Plemons is excellent. I think Emma Stone, as always, is excellent. But what I really loved about this movie, I love a movie where I start second guessing myself. And like 21 Grams was one of those way back when, where I thought at the beginning of the movie it was this movie, and then all of a sudden halfway through I'm like, what is like it's like you've totally taken a 180. And that is what happened with this movie, where like halfway through I'm like siding with the conspiracy theorists all of a sudden, this person who's supposed to be this crazy person. And then when you find out the twist, I was like really happy about it because I was like, wow, I'm not crazy, but I am crazy because I was, like siding with the conspiracy theorist who is a maniac. So what does that make me? So it had me really second guessing like how crazy I am. And the ending I just thought was so fun because as I was going through all of that, then the ending happens and it's just so silly and like dark also in the best way as only, Yargos can do. So yeah, I left the theater like really kind of like laughing to myself and kind of like smiling because it was just, you don't get those types of experiences often, I think, especially from such a big budget movie with all these like big famous people being in it. So yeah, I just felt like it was really a unique experience. And man, I just can't wait to see what he continues to do. And I just think he's a really talented filmmaker.
Yeah, I will say I actually think my favorite like male performance of the year is Jesse Plemons in this movie. I think he's really, really good in this movie, and I think it's something different than I actually think that Jesse Plemons is a super like rangy actor. I think he can do a lot of stuff. And I feel like this is a level we haven't really seen from him. Even though he's like super great at being like creepy and weird, this is like another kind of like gear I think that we haven't quite seen from him. I know that when we reviewed the movie, I kind of said that he's like the closest thing to Philip Seymour Hoffman that has been around as an actor. And I kind of feel that way in that like I feel like that's the closest comparison to his level of performance where, he can completely take over a movie and be the most captivating thing on screen, and he can also be like a supporting guy who is going to stick with you even though he may have had like a small part in the movie, but just like tremendous range and really good. And I think this movie's
100%.
very, very solid. It didn't quite make my top 10. It's in honorable mentions, but like a very
I was
solid
glad
movie.
it wasn't mean because there's so much meanness in a lot of Lanthimos's earlier films. Like there's real like it's not just dark, it's like mean dark. Like So it was nice to see him be the villain and be this bad guy, but not be mean. Like you were almost like on his side sometimes, and that's why I said it really had me second guessing. Like, am I crazy? Like, why am I now second guessing myself about this person? And he's super. It's just done really well. He's like this charismatic, intelligent person, and you're just like along for the ride. So that was a lot of fun.
So many people hated that ending. I thought it was so funny.
I
was just
loved
cracking.
the ending.
I love the ending.
It was so funny.
It was so funny.
Up. Oh my god.
Because it's just so ridiculous. I mean, the whole thing
It's
is
so ridiculous. Why don't people enjoy that? Man, ridiculous is my favorite sometimes, especially when it's done by a talented filmmaker. Like, you're in good hands. You can just enjoy it being dumb,
Yeah. People want things wrapped up in little bows for them sometimes.
Oh my god, I feel like that was the perfect little bow that he gave us. It was just like dark. Like, I guess that just goes back to like those, like The Lottery, those types of like dark types of things, and that's what he does. Like, what are they expecting? Like, go watch freaking The Killing of a Sacred Deer and tell me that you're that Begonia was too dark. Like, this was like his Disney. This is like a Disney movie compared to what he usually does.
You know what's interesting is that Killing of a Sacred Deer is my favorite of his movies.
I know that.
Really?
And I feel like it's nobody else's, but
because
it's very
dark.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our number 4s. I am going to hold off on mine because one of us has this very high. Both of you have it higher than me, but one of us has it very high, which is One Battle After Another, which we will get into in a minute.
I wonder who has it very high.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually very surprised that Cody liked the Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Finally,
exactly.
Has a PTA movie ever made your top 10 list?
I don't know. I feel like maybe The Master was close. And I feel like if I would have made a top 10, Boogie Nights would definitely be in my top 10.
I was about to say.
But other than that, no, totally not.
Yeah, I remember one time we walked out. I remember one time we walked out of it. I can't remember what it was. It was either Phantom Thread or
it would have had to have been that or Inherent Vice.
No, I mean it might have been. It was a Licorice Pizza. We walked out.
Oh
of it.
shit! Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't know what it is about him, but that did nothing for me. And to be fair, like Licorice Pizza is like minor PTA, but at the same time, I really liked it, and I just remember your face, like, yeah.
I feel like he's been trying to chase the glory of his earlier films.
I don't. Well,
Punch Drunk Love.
I'm just happy that Cody's...
Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love.
We'll get into it.
All the early stuff is so good.
So we'll talk about Kiko's number 4 because it is It's the first movie I think that has made all 3 of our list in different spots. But Kiko, you're number 4.
Wait, is it really? I thought we had for the first one, right?
The first one that we're talking about here.
Oh, okay. So yeah, number 4. We can all talk about it. I don't have to be the only one. But Marty Supreme made what? What number were you for? 6 for Jocelyn.
And 9 for me.
And 9 for you. And then 4 for me. Yeah. Yeah, it was just, I mean, talk about it. There was a phrase that you used a little bit ago, Jocelyn. Second guessing. You see her second guessing yourself on a movie. And this is that's what I did here. I had no idea where this movie was going at any point in this movie. Like something started, and I love when I can just see the writers sitting at their computer writing the screenplay, and like, this is probably where it should go, but I'm going to go ahead and just fuck everybody over and just do this. And I just love that. I love that people think outside of the box like that, and they just like start writing these things that are just so incredibly interesting and just thought-provoking. And the story is just out of the realm of anything that I've seen so far. Of course, I mean, it's a story about a ping pong player, and I don't think there's ever been a story about a ping pong player other than Forrest Gump. But yeah, I really had a lot of fun watching this. I thought that Timothée Chalamet, he gave one of my he's grown on me in the past few years. I did not like him at the beginning of his career.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. When he played that cannibal, there was a cannibal love story.
Yeah.
I hated him in that movie so much.
But you didn't like Call Me by Your Name?
Oh yeah, but I mean,
Call Me by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name.
Good shit.
It was good.
I will.
You're talking about Bones and All, yeah.
I will say I texted Cody during this movie, and I was like, I liked the movie. I didn't love Timothy, and I'm kind of mad he's getting it for this because he's playing himself. He's playing an arrogant young man. Yes, okay. I'm like, how hard is it for him to play an arrogant young man when he's literally at the top of the sphere in Las Vegas saying I'm the best actor in the world and I'm gonna get all the Oscars, and you know what I mean? And he's trying to dial that back now, but it just like, to me, it was like him playing himself on screen. So. Yeah.
Again, I just love how wildly unpredictable it was. This ping pong table tennis guy that's like blinded by ambition. I mean, it was just the tension was just really it felt like another Uncut Gems type movie.
Well, so to jump on that real quickly, so this is the first time that the Safdie brothers have been disconnected. So Benny made the Smashing Machine earlier this year. Josh made this one. This feels like a Safdie brothers movie. And Smashing Machine does not. Yeah. And so I feel like you're getting a lot of insight into like the Safdie brothers and like what their personal, what they bring to the table here, because this is definitely the one that feels like they're.
Isn't the other one more of an actor too? So
Benny does act, yeah.
But he did a full length feature this year that I was not a big fan of, but I watched Uncut Gems this week because I knew Marty was coming out, and I realized I was a Safdie brother fan, like huge. And then when I saw Marty Supreme, I realized I was a Josh Safdie huge fan, because everything that I loved about Uncut Gems, I saw translate into Marty Supreme. Some people say just kind of recycled, and I a little bit agree. It's sort of formulaic what he does. I'm not mad about it, but then Smashing Machine was just like, no, thank you.
Yeah, and for me personally, I like Timothée Chalamet in this movie. Again, I've always thought he's like the real deal. He's a really good actor, even in stuff that I didn't love, like Bones and All. I think he's really good in it. He's incredible in Call Me by Your Name, like without a doubt. But I think that the things that I liked about it is that I think it's got a great script for a lot of the times. There's a lot of like great one-liners in it, especially when he's like doing his press stuff and he's like giving the one-liners to the press about his opponents that he's facing. Like he makes like Holocaust and atomic bomb jokes during his press stuff, and I like that like arrogant Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, like, you know, like having no hubris sort of kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And Yeah, I mean, I think that like the thing that like kept this from being higher was two things. Number one, it lays the sort of like uh anxiety, like this is a very anxiety ridden movie where like it's very stressful this movie because, and I think to a point where like every scene is like a one up of the one that came before it, and I feel like eventually it gets a little exhausting. And I also feel like there's a few like plot lines that don't fully flesh out, like the tennis or the table tennis balls, like the orange balls. I think it's just a storyline that's like a nothing storyline. I don't know that Gwyneth Paltrow really adds much to the mix here, but I think
the
it's
other
enjoyable.
supporting cast was amazing. Like, I
Yeah,
really
but
loved
that's a
Odessa
Safdie thing,
and
right?
Tyler,
It's just
the
like
creator. Like, there was some really excellent supporting
Well, it's
characters.
just
George
these-
Gervin, baby.
I wouldn't add Gwyneth Paltrow to that list of,
Yeah.
I agree, but man,
Yeah,
the other
but
ones
I-
were pretty good.
But I do like that like Marty is fighting his own battles in this movie, and like what ends up being his like biggest moment is ultimately like the smallest thing that happens, throughout the course of the movie. And so I think like the ambitious, like the ambition of Chalamet as an actor, as a person, also comes through Marty as a character. 100%. And I think that is one thing that that really does work well. And again, it moves really well. It's well paced, maybe to a harmful degree where I think maybe it's like hitting the gas a little bit too much, but still really a solid movie. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our number. Well, Jocelyn, you're number 4, which we will hold off on because it's a little bit higher on one of our lists.
Somebody's list. Who's a?
Gee whiz.
Who could it be?
Yeah, which was
One Battle After Another. Sorry.
no.
Oh,
That is not your number 4.
I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, which we'll talk about in a minute. So my number 3, which we will hold off because it is higher on someone else's list, is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, is my number 3.
Nice. Okay.
And so I think someone just spoiled whose list it is a little bit higher on.
We know it's not this guy who gave it a C.
Who gave what? What are we talking about?
You gave If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You a C.
Did I give? No, he didn't. I didn't
Yes, you
review
did.
it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cody's giving me misinformation. He told me you gave
No,
it a C.
you did. You absolutely did.
We didn't review it on the
Yeah, I know, but you
podcast?
messaged me and told me.
Oh, okay,
Interesting.
okay.
And I gave it to Jocelyn because I knew how she reacted to it, which we'll get into later.
Okay,
but,
makes sense.
But you have your chance to you will say your piece when we talk about it. But Kiko,
no.
your number 3 is unique because Jocelyn and I did not like this movie. So
What?
go ahead.
Are you serious? What the heck's going on?
I can't wait
Okay,
to-
my number
oh,
3 is
God.
Hamnet, and
The
it's going to get
crap,
nominated.
okay.
It's going to get nominated for Best Picture, of course, Best Director.
This year's Crash, by the way.
Best.
I've heard it described as this year's Crash. I'm not.
No
you
way.
know, I'm
So-
sorry I had to throw that at you.
It'll win Best Actress. It'll get.
I don't know about
some-
that. I don't know that she's going to win Best Actress.
Oh, you think it's going to go to
Rose, please,
Rose? Okay, we'll
You're,
see. We'll see.
Jocelyn, you are totally selling yourself out here on
Knock on
your-
wood,
on your
my
list.
God. Your lips to God's ears.
So,
I
like I
think
said,
you're right, though. I don't
It's a
think
two-horse
you're right,
race at
Cody.
this point, for
think-
sure.
I think Hamnet's gonna take it, but
well, like I said in my review, I think we're happy that Chloe Zhao is not slumming it with Marvel anymore, and she came back
Yeah.
to her, poetic, elegant type of storytelling here. And I think that this drama between the romance between William Shakespeare and his wife, it was really it sold me, and especially in the way that it talks about the effect that death has on people and tragedy. I think that everything below the line, all the craft stuff that had to deal with the 16th century England was just, there was so much attention to detail on everything, and I thought that the script itself was just full of just these sad moments, and I especially loved the last 15 minutes of the movie. I think probably one of the best endings of a movie that I've seen in a while. So I think this whole idea of how grief impacts creativity was really interesting. I understand where some of y'all are coming from when you have your arguments are about it, but that theater scene at the end was just very cathartic for me. So I really enjoyed Hamnet. It's a very sad movie, of course, and but very beautiful, very lyrical, and I would say probably this one and Train Dreams were the most lyrical, poetic films of the year, and I really enjoyed both. But Hamnet was right up there, and that's why it's my number 3 this year.
All right, great. And I don't have anything to add except for I think that I think the movie has some solid elements of it. I think Paul Mescal's great, Jessie Buckley's great. I just feel like it's a little grief porny for me, and something that I just could not entirely get behind. I think Jocelyn kind of shares the same.
I'm trying to find there was a tweet that put it perfectly where they said that it was this year's Crash, and they alluded to the fact that it's like what Cody's saying. I just want to find it because I held off on sending it to you directly, Kiko, because I didn't want to be a bitch. So
no. Again, I'm not rooting for Hamnet to win anything, but
yeah.
I was happy
Other than
I
Best
wasn't
Actress.
the only one though that saw it as that, as being I don't know. But it's still a beautiful movie. It's not my favorite, but it's just when you said elegantly told, I was just he's absolutely right. It is a very elegantly told story.
cool. So number 11 for you. I got it.
Exactly.
Crash was maybe number 11 on my list that year too.
Jocelyn, you're number 3, which again we were going to hold off on.
Okay.
Which is
One Battle After Another.
All right.
Which I struggled with my top 3.
Sure. Yeah. So my we're on number 2 now, which is a movie that is on Kiko's number 9. My number 2 is The Perfect Neighbor, the documentary. Again, I saw this at Sundance. It is a documentary about. Basically, it's not really a spoiler because it's a news story and also it happens early on. But it is about a black woman who is essentially shot and murdered by her white neighbor. And the entire movie takes place through police body cam footage. So it's all stitched together over a series of escalating events that happen over a series of months, where there was some conflict that happened in a neighborhood in Florida, and sort of progresses. And, this is one of those films that it's not an easy watch. There are some heartbreaking moments in it, which I feel like were the most emotionally resonant scenes of anything that I saw this year. I mean, the stuff that there's stuff that happens in this movie that is just total gut punchy, emotional, just blows that is, again, not easy to watch. But the thing that stands out to me the most, and the thing that stuck out to me for the entire year, again, I saw this a year ago in January, is just the filmmaking is just absolutely incredible. It's stitched together through this body cam footage, and it feels like a narrative, right? It feels like a narrative that is well placed and well put together.
So when you say that, do you mean the editing?
Yeah, it's the editing for sure.
Okay.
It's entirely the editing because it's just, basic, footage of police responding to different incidents. But you see the editing of how things are built. And honestly too, the thing about the editing is that it's not sort of editing to kind of prove a point to you. It's really kind of letting the situations play out and letting the audience recognize what is really going on here. And yeah, it's just such an emotionally powerful movie. It is a movie that gave me the most emotion this year, which is the emotion of probably anger. It's an infuriating watch, an absolutely frustrating, infuriating watch of this needless act of violence that happened. And it features the biggest villain of any movie that you see of the year with this woman who is part of the incident. And I don't think it ever exploits this, poor woman who got murdered. I don't think it exploits her family. I think it very sort of respectfully shows the escalation of events. I think it's essential viewing to see, the sort of racial bias that's occurring that happens here. I think it's essential to see the importance of gun laws. I think it's essential for sort of how stand your ground can and it talks a little bit about this disparity of stand your ground cases and how many of them are racially motivated, and it displays that. It's just this incredible work of nonfiction where it just months after I saw it, I could not get it out of my head. I could not shake the sort of impact that this movie had on me. And it's not one that I've seen it twice because I watched it with someone else because I wanted to show it to them and they had the same reaction as I did.
Why are you showing this to me? Is that what it was?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was just like fucking
If
tears
I had
of
legs, I'd kick you.
sadness of the frustration of it all. And it just, again, a movie that angered me so much. And if a movie's getting that response out of me, I've got to give it some element of praise. And again, this is the movie above all else that stuck with me throughout the entire year. And Kiko, I know that it was your number 9 as well.
Yeah. I'm glad that this when it comes to true crime, it's always hit or miss for me. Sometimes it's just they just take it too far. I mean, whether it's the swelling music of a docuseries or getting to the most heinous parts of it. People are into that, and I mean sometimes it's fine. I don't care for it, but I really do like true crime in general. So the way that they presented this was very very meaningful, and it didn't overdo any of the narrative. And there's one scene that just knocked me down, and that's when they have to explain to her kids what happened. And that scene is just like the core of that movie, because everything that happens before it is just devastating. Then there's that one punch to the gut, and then everything that kind of just draws out. And they don't draw it out to the point where like it's just like, okay, this villain, they don't turn her into this monster type thing. It's just what happened in this tragedy, and so I just think that the way that they presented it was just was an amazing feat. So
yeah,
I really liked it. And it's interesting because you're talking about like just movies that make you angry, and I wanted to ask either of you, that's a very specific feeling that you can get. I remember the first time I was about 8 years old, and I saw Mississippi Burning for the first time, and I was really young. I was watching movies like that. Well, my parents weren't really paying attention to what I was watching, so I remember seeing that, and I was just so angry at watching that movie. And I felt that way with this one. And then there was another movie, I don't know if you ever saw it, Cody, called The Stoning of Soraya M. back in 2008, I believe. And that's another one that just leaves you with this disgusting like feeling of like injustice, I guess, and just the way that it kind of rolls out. And that's the way that I felt watching this. But at least there was some closure in this story. So that's the good thing.
And at this point, probably the front runner for the Oscar at this point, did win the Critics' Choice for Best Documentary Feature and Best Direction for Documentary. And it's on Netflix for anyone who wants to see it right now. It is not the easiest watch in the world, but man, I just like cannot get over how well directed and edited this movie is. It's just so tastefully done for a movie that is like completely devastating. Jocelyn, did you get around to watching this one?
No, I struggle with this one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did. I've heard it recommended by so many people who I trust their opinion on, by so many critics. And I did hear one of them say, listen, do it for the person's memory, because you know what
totally.
I mean? Like, I feel like it's the least I can do when I watch such bullshit movies sometimes, such trash. This is the least I can do is honor this woman's memory by watching this movie. But my God, I just like, I get like teary-eyed just thinking about it. So it's like, it's going to be a tough one for me.
Well,
so we'll see.
It's just like, and I don't use this word a lot with documentary stuff every so often. It feels essential to me. It just feels like an essential watch for me. And but I'll go ahead. Yeah, I'll go ahead and move on. I'm going to step away for a second. But Kiko, if you want to go ahead and give your number 2, you are the only one on this list. So go ahead and talk about it.
No, we share. Mine's a Nouvelle Vague, so we can talk about it.
Wait, no, that was your number 5.
Sorry, that's your number. That's your number 2. My number 2. Oh wait, what the hell?
Cody came back just to correct you.
Okay, go ahead and leave Cody. I don't know how I'm the only person that has this movie on their list. I feel like I'm going to talk like Sarat again. No, so Sentimental Value. Did you see it?
I did.
Okay.
It was my what is it? The 11th, like the
it was an honorable mention.
Yes, honorable mention. Sorry.
Yeah, so this is Norway's selection for Best International Feature Film. I just thought it was emotionally resonant. If you don't know what this movie is about, it follows a celebrated filmmaker who reunites with his estranged daughters after their mother dies, and one of the daughters is an actress, and he's asking her if she would like to be part of his new film that he's going to be doing. He wrote the part for her, and it's about his traumatic childhood. His mother killed herself when he was a boy, and so it talks about a little bit about that, and she turns down the role, so he has to turn to another actress played by Elle Fanning, who's I guess would be like considered like a Jennifer Lawrence type actress
American movie
today.
star.
American movie star, really popular, but probably not the best choice for this role. And it kind of breaks that down, and we see that. I thought the character, it was just character driven, and there was like a lot of tenderness to it. I think that the story goes to some very uncomfortable places with family drama, and I like the way that it left me kind of guessing where reality and non-reality, for lack of a better term, kind of cross. I love the way that it ended. That kind of took me for a loop as well. I'm not sure if any of y'all saw what was happening at the end. I didn't, so that really caught me off guard. And I think that the director.
Sorry, I missed that.
What's that? The ending?
What was going on at the end? Sorry.
Well, the ending is they.
Oh, right. When it
walking
switches
through
to
the
yes,
right.
sorry,
The actual scene of the movie.
The actual scene. So yeah.
Got it.
So yeah, I think again, I think everybody, the top 4 actors, I think they all should be nominated. Skarsgård, the 2 sisters, I can't ever pronounce either of their names, and then Elle Fanning as well. Fanning will probably be on the outside looking in, but
Well, I think the best part of the movie is the other sister.
The other sister. I was blown away by her.
I can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
It's
yeah,
like
her name is very
it's
hard
with
to
an
pronounce.
I, but everyone had been raving about the Star Sister, and I know that she came from a previous movie from this director that I really want to see as well. But I thought the other sister just like totally
Inga
stole the show.
Ib's daughter, Lilias.
It was such a quiet performance, and it was just so subtle, and like she was just always kind of in the background, but like just great.
For me this movie, I really like the way that it starts, and then I feel like it just sort of like meanders a little bit and loses its meaning a little bit throughout. I think the performances are all great, but look, this director directed one of my favorite movies of all time, which was Oslo, August 31st, which is the most fucking depressing movie in the world. But I'm always going to love him for making that film.
I've seen that film. I just don't remember it. So it must not have.
Man,
when did that come out?
2011.
2011. Yeah.
Well, and then he did The Worst Person in the World, right? With this
with
actress
her, yeah,
that
with
everyone.
the same actress, yeah.
But
who is also in Oslo, August 31st, as is a couple of other people. He works
she's
with
excellent. Like she's also incredible. But I just felt like the other sister, like really kind of was able to somehow take the attention away from the star.
I think she's the best part of the movie.
I agree. I also agree. I'm glad you said that it kind of meanders about, because I heard someone describe this movie and say that it's just like, what did they say? That it's just like intense from beginning to end. And I was like, what movie did you see? Because I felt the same way, that it kind of like was a lot of blah in the middle. It's okay, Kiko. You can throw your microphone at me. I know you're mad. I know you're so mad about it.
I was going to throw my microphone across the room.
It just felt kind of like I was a little disappointed. I thought there was going to be more to it, but not to say that it wasn't great. Honorable mention.
Also, I think
this
movie is interesting because it is eligible for the international Oscar, and it's one of those things where like there's a certain percentage of the movie that can be in English, and this movie is like partially in English.
A little bit, yeah.
But enough of it is in Norwegian and Swedish to where it fits. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and move on to Jocelyn's number 2, which was also on Kiko's list. So not on mine. So you two have at it.
Yay, new Vlog.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you want to start? You want me to start?
It's higher on your list. That's you.
I guess I'm going to say that Cody put it perfectly when this movie was coming out. He said, Jocelyn, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And I was really anticipating that it was going to be hate because I just, can't have nice things. And then instead, it was like, I felt like Richard Linklater gave me a beautiful gift last year, and it was this movie. Like, I could not have loved it more. It was just everything I wanted it to be. It had all the coolness of the French New Wave. It had all the style. God, the Godard actor, was incredible. Those are, real big, I say big shoes, but Godard wasn't a large man, so I'm just saying, he had some big Ray-Ban sunglasses to fill, and man, that actor just nailed him, and I just could not have loved this movie more. So like I said, I just felt like Richard Linklater gave me a little gift, and it was this movie, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, Linklater did a great job this year with this one, and then also I liked Blue Moon, even though it didn't make my top 10 or 15 or anything like that. But
I was a little disappointed with Blue Moon.
Oh, you didn't like Blue Moon? I really enjoyed Ethan Hawke's performance a lot.
I felt like his performance is excellent. I thought that it was redundant. It was a lot of
just hanging out and
right, which that's kind of what Linklater does, but that's why I'm so glad that Nouvelle Vague just really kind of checked all my boxes, because he does tend to sometimes do his little thing that is great, but not my favorite.
And you're talking about the main actor. I thought that Zoe
and she did Zoe
Deutsch. She did a great job too, and I just it embraces the spirit, like you said, of the French New Wave. Again, we've talked about it during our podcast for this one, but I don't think, at least I haven't seen enough French New Wave, and it's been a while since I've really immersed myself in it, since college, when we took film classes. But I thought it was just charming. I thought it was stylistically flawless with the things that he chose to pull from that era. I love the way that they introduced the characters. I mean, just everything about it was just really well done. And
also a real great hour 30-minute runtime.
Perfect.
God, I miss that, where it's just this perfect little thing that it's just
I think the whatever vision he started or went into it, he really knocked it out of the park when it came to the improvised scenes. They felt really effortless, and I thought it was just I used the word before in my reviews, but I thought it was just very playful, and I think that's exactly what this film needed. So,
and that's what the French New Wave was. Everything was playful, and he just really captured that.
I agree. So
without making it, I thought it was going to be a parody of it. I don't know how he was able to embed it into the film in a subtle way where it was just it was seamless for me, where it wasn't okay, now he's being he's paying attention, he's referencing this, or even though it was very referencey with the directors and their names, and it could have been very a parody of the French New Wave.
It was seamless and it was respectful, right? I mean, he really went in there 100%. Wanting to do this right?
I know. So
I wish more directors did that. I want to see, a horror
make
film
good
director.
movies. I know. I live
well, you know what
it.
I mean? Okay, I want to go in there and make, I mean, I guess some are trying now, what's his
They're
Osgood
trying real
Perkins and stuff like that. But
oh yeah.
I want to really make this a horror movie that feels like a 70s or 80s.
And listen,
movie.
that's why it's so nice when they accomplish it, because Linklater isn't always my favorite, and he does, I think, fall short sometimes. Again, with Blue Moon, I wasn't super into it. That's why I'm just so happy when they finally nail it, and I feel like this was one of those movies where just nailed it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cody just doesn't like French people.
No,
other than Wemby.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama is the only French person that I like.
I don't want Cody to watch French New Wave, because I know he's gonna be messaging me it was fine.
Yeah,
he's gonna see Breathless and he's gonna be
look,
okay.
I think this movie needs to be 30% more fun than it is. I feel like it does not capture the sort of magic and fun of movie making that a lot of these movies do.
Sure, you're right.
And I really I feel like it starts to get repetitive when you start to get into the reenactments of these scenes. I feel like there's not, it's just a pure reenactment of it without the fun. The only fun happens when you get a little bit of pushback in terms of the making of the film, and how he's sort of dodging the studio people and stuff like that. That's fun, but the actual making of the movie never really feels all that fun to me. And I feel
totally agree.
That's what's missing. But here we go. Our number one movies. So, interestingly, all of our number ones have at least one person in common that it made the list, and two of our number ones made all three of our list. Beginning with my number one of the year, which is Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
That's high, Cody.
It is high, and I feel like it's warranted. I think that this movie is, Kiko, you mentioned it when you talked about it. I think we mentioned it in our review when we talked about it here. It's a beautiful movie. It's just really like gorgeously made. I think it has the best of the sort of like tech award type stuff, the production design, the costumes, the makeup, the score, cinematography. It's just such a well-crafted movie. I know we talked about this then. I'm rehashing stuff, but it's one of those Netflix movies, one of the few Netflix movies where you're like, you should see this in a theater because the scope of it is really wonderful. I think it features a great performance from Oscar Isaac. I think Jacob Elordi is fucking incredible in this movie as Frankenstein's monster. I love the way that it basically does a riff on the Frankenstein story, where it's like split up into these two chapters where you get the doctor's version of this, and then you get the monster's version of this, which is a new spin on like humanizing this creature in a way that is really well done. I feel like it's Del Toro operating at a really high level. I hope that he gets nominated for Best Director. I feel like he probably will at this point, but I feel like this is one of his better movies that he's made in a really long time. I prefer this over Shape of Water that he won all the Oscars for. And like, there's just scenes with me that really stuck with me throughout thinking about this stuff. The scene where like Oscar Isaac is like displaying the like in front of the classroom, like his findings. It's like this really grotesque but really engaging scene that he delivers. You've got like Mia Goth and like a dual performance here. I think that it is really well executed, well done, super entertaining, a great riff on the Frankenstein story. I love that it has like the beginning of the movie has this like great action sequence of it, which is just like Frankenstein's monster just like fucking people up, and then you get to slowly see the humanization of him throughout the course of it. I feel like Oscar Isaac plays the sort of like regretful creator really well. And yeah, I just think it's a gorgeous movie that is technically the best thing I've seen this year. I think it's Del Toro operating on like master level, and I think the thing I enjoyed most watching this year. But Kiko, This was your number 8. Jocelyn, your number 4. Kiko.
I'll add a little bit to that. I mean, again, Del Toro, I would agree with you. It's one of the best things he's done. I still like Pan's Labyrinth a little bit better, but like I said in my review before, I think this is the most empathetic version of the creature that I've ever seen on screen. And not to say that I've seen every single Frankenstein movie besides Young Frankenstein. No, I've seen a few more, but yeah, I think Elordi just did some amazing work on this, and then humanizing this monster. And you're not gonna see me ever criticizing Oscar Isaac, my boyfriend, in another life movie. So he does a great job. I think everybody's just hands down, and technically, we don't even have to talk about the movie. Technically, this is gonna. It'll be up there, but we're gonna see it at least get the nominations that it deserves, which is really really just impressive stuff that they do. So yeah, I love. I mean, every so often, I mean, there's these types of stories like Frankenstein. How many times is this going to be done? Or we always talk about that. Or they're going to redo this again. But it's always nice to see when they finally get it right and they don't waste our time. So.
Yeah, it's something that feels fresh, like a fresh take on a really old story,
right?
For sure. And Jocelyn, this was your number 4.
So I had it at like 8, I think, before I watched it again over Christmas, and then it was like definitely my top 5, maybe eking into the top 3. I think a second time around, I was able to sort of relax more because I knew where it was going, and I could just enjoy and watch and see like all the things. I also really regret not watching it in a theater, and I'm not that person. Usually, Cody knows that about me, but this one I'm like, man, I really think if I had seen it in a theater, it would have been a way different experience, and it probably would have been my top 3. just because it's so big and beautiful and fun and good for Guillermo. I'm really happy that he was able to. This was like his white whale, and he did it, and he nailed it. And you know what else is really cool is that like you hear from the actors and everyone, it all sounds like they had an amazing time making it, and they really love Del Toro as a director, and that also just kind of like makes me happy. So. Yeah, a lot to be happy about with this.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I'm telling you, that's what he needs to hit next.
He's wanted to do this. I know he's wanted to make a lot of Lovecraft stuff. I think like that's been like a big part of his stuff too. And again, like he can clearly do this stuff. I don't think all of his stuff is like amazing. I mean, I think he's had some misses, but this anything that has like these, Kiko, we have talked about this a lot with Del Toro, is like the fantastical elements and like sort of balancing that with realism. And I feel like this is one of the best versions of him taking a fantastical, like, he does a lot of fairy tale type stuff, but this sort of like that kind of thing and like grounding it where like Frankenstein's monster in this movie feels like a real character, like a very multifaceted, humanistic character, and I think that's the best thing that it does in this movie. Like the humanization of the monster is so well done in this movie, and a lot of credit goes to Jacob Elordi for inhabiting that in a really impressive way. So I hope he gets nominated for that. I don't know where he is on the list, but I would love to see him get nominated for that. But I think like Del Toro for director, picture, and then all the technical awards, production design, makeup, like
Did
give
you
it
say
everything.
Del Toro for director?
He should be nominated, I think.
Oh, nominated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But he's not going to win.
Someone else is winning.
Someone else is going to win, yeah.
Someone else.
Which, Kiko, go ahead and tell us who's winning Best Director and who's on your number one for this list.
Yeah, my number one, of course, is One Battle After Another, which was number 3 on Jocelyn and remind me, Cody?
Number 4, I believe, on my list.
Number 4, okay. That high?
Yeah. Number 4.
Nice. I think that probably, if we do the consensus, One Battle After Another is the number 1 on everybody's list. Then
probably. Yeah, probably.
I mean, okay. So again, bias. I'm biased. I love everything almost everything that he's done. I think if I'm looking at my list of whatchamacallit, of PTA movies. I ranked it at number 5, One Battle After Another out of 10. So it's right in the center. But again,
But to be clear, the other 4 are probably like some of your favorite movies of all time.
Right. They're on like probably my deathbed top 10.
Right.
So yeah. So again, if there's a PTA Anderson movie coming out, it's likely going to be my number 1 movie, unless it's Licorice Pizza wasn't my number 1.
Not Inherent Vice, right?
Well, that's the only one that I
his only bad movie in your eyes.
In my eyes, and it wasn't bad.
Movie. Yeah,
that movie fucking sucks.
He doesn't make bad movies.
Inherent Vice is a bad movie. Jocelyn, do you like Inherent Vice? Have you seen it?
Not as good movies as others.
Exactly, that's how I feel.
I would say
that movie sucks.
I had to watch Inherent Vice 5 times to
make yourself like it.
to get me to a C+. That's what I'll say. Anyway, but everything else he touches basically turns to gold. So anyway, I love this film. I as soon as I walked out, I knew. I think I told Cody too. I mean, I might have told other people. I was like, this is going to win the Best Picture of the year, hands down. And everybody rolled their eyes at me. But I have a really good feeling. I always have a good feeling when I see things. I can kind of tell where they're going to end. It's a superpower of mine, I think. But I think that definitely it's his year. It's adapted, which is interesting because most of my favorite stuff that he does is mostly original screenplay. So I'd like to see him go back to some more stuff sooner than later. But I think he does such a great narrative here. It's very funny. I don't think. Cody, you can talk a little bit about this, and maybe did you find it as funny as some of his other stuff that you might have liked, like Boogie Nights?
Yeah, for sure. I think I think that it is definitely one of his funniest movies. I feel like it also features one of the best DiCaprio performances, and also I feel like it's his most mainstream movie, which I feel like is maybe not a coincidence here. Right.
I remember you talking about that, and maybe it had dropped it down a little bit then because you kind of thought it was a mainstream. I don't know. I think Jocelyn and I, when we first reviewed it, didn't really feel the same way that it felt like a mainstream. It felt like a mainstream Paul Thomas Anderson movie. If that
I
makes
remember,
any
yeah,
sense.
because I missed it and went back, and then you said that Cody made a observation that it was too mainstream.
Right, and I said that it's as mainstream as PTA can get. That's what I think that I said, and because I don't see it as a mainstream movie. And
He has
it
the
isn't
guy
because
from Titanic in it.
And it didn't make any money, so it can't be that mainstream. I mean, it bombed at the box office. Nobody saw this movie.
I don't think that's entirely true.
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta
definitely.
say,
It didn't make any money.
You don't get more mainstream than Leonardo DiCaprio, though.
It is the highest grossing film of Paul Thomas Anderson's career, and
You got the guy from Titanic.
It made $206 million off of a $130 to $175 million budget, so it made money. It wasn't like a box office like smash, but it was also the most successful film of his career.
I don't think it's also an insult to say that it was his most mainstream.
I don't think it's not an insult. I don't think it's an insult at all. I just think that like it to me does not have the markers of a PTA movie until you get to like the final act. You get like the chase scenes. You get the stuff that happens. It's like really.
I don't know. You get the Johnny Greenwood
well shot.
Soundtrack, which is pretty PTA.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack. I thought
the soundtrack does a lot of heavy lifting. I think here.
Yeah, but I just like his black comedy. This is a more of an actiony film than I remember him ever doing. Yeah. I mean, I think I read somebody's like, leave it to P.T. Anderson to write a car chase scene where none of the cars switched lanes. So, I mean, that's like a perfect example of what he can do. But yeah, some of those scenes at the end are great. I mean, I don't know. It's just, it has a lot of themes in it that I feel are very, of course, timely, especially today. I think there's a lot of nuanced performances, and again, I think he's 0 for 11 in Oscars as a producer, director, and writer. So I think it's
that'll
finally
change this year.
No, he's going to get it finally.
I think he'll finally get it. I think he'll win
he deserves it.
Director and adapted screenplay, and we'll see about picture, because right now I think it's going to be between that one and Sinners, and I think Sinners is going to like become like the most nominated film of all time in next week, based on what I'm reading and what I probably think.
Yeah, I think picture, screenplay, and director are pretty wrapped up here. I feel like this is and not to say that like it's not warranted, but I do feel like this is like PTA's Lifetime Achievement Award coming in here. I'm
fine with that.
On that note, I want to say I love this movie. I really did. I do believe, though, that it started on the 30-yard line just because it had PTA attached to it. I think people are giving it a little bit of a head start just because it's like a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I think it's a fantastic movie, and I can't think of a better movie of the year. But I do think that people are giving it a little too much credit just because there are things that aren't perfect. Like there are some caricatures around the characters. There is a little caricature element to them.
To Sean Penn, maybe.
No, that's actually the one that I disagree with. But to the Leo and Benicio kind of buddy comedy that happens halfway through, which I'm not mad about, but I just think it is a little bit of a character. The parts with the skateboarders, like the gang of skateboarders, that always takes me out of it. Even the second time I watched it, it took me out again. And then also the end, like it does so good, so long, the soundtrack. And then as soon as he starts playing American Girl, the Tom Petty song, I'm like, why would he ruin this movie with such a dumb song? Do you know what I mean? Like he did. I didn't
mind American Girl.
Johnny Greenwood did such an excellent job at this, like really immaculate, I'm gonna say, soundtrack, and then to end the movie with like that dumb, I don't know. It really, I was like, God damn it.
Somebody's not a Tom Petty fan.
I love Tom Petty. I just think it was so on the nose, like we're in America, and it was just like, man. Couldn't they? I just feel like
whenever I hear that song, I always think of Silence of the Lambs. So I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I don't know. Those are small complaints. Complaints for a movie that I definitely think was the best movie of the year and is going to be PTA's first time getting.
And it's fine if he wins, if it's a consolation prize or whatever you would say, or Lifetime Achievement Award, because even if that's the case, I think that he has more great films in this future.
I do
mean,
too.
We're gonna,
Oh, true. Agreed.
Well-
and I just think like, wow, how could he have not won for There Will Be Blood or
yeah, it's called the
Magnolia
Coen Brothers.
or
Yeah.
Boogie Nights? Oh man, I had no
Country for
idea.
Old Men is the
Well,
better
listen,
movie.
can you imagine? God, wow. Can we take a time machine back to that year where those were the movies that were coming out? My
Both
God.
shot in Texas. You know that story, right? They both shot in
Yeah.
near.
That by the way,
I did not know that.
And
That
when
was-
somewhere cool.
yeah, when the Coen Brothers, I'm not sure who told the story, but as the Coens were shooting it, they had to change directions sometimes because they would see the,
the
smoke.
oil rig.
Mhm, they would see the plumes of smoke.
That's great.
yeah. By the way, that was a crazy year just in general because I believe that was also the year that Michael Clayton came out, which is a great
man.
movie.
Michael Clayton. I saw that a couple of months ago. That ending,
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
I
just
thought
love
you
that
were
ending
gonna
so
say
much.
like
The
a really
sort of "you're
incredible
so
movie.
fucked" ending that happened.
Yeah, that and then but also I'm a big fan of credit stuff, and so
Yeah.
I love the way the credits roll in that movie,
Yeah.
which is him sitting in the back of a car.
It's funny because everyone talks about No Country for Old Men and There Will Be Blood, but Michael Clayton might be the best movie of those three, in my opinion.
I gotta watch that.
You've never seen it?
Oh, you have to watch it. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man,
such
it's
a good movie.
fucking
It can't-
awesome.
Michael Clayton sounds like something that came out like in the 90s. Like
It kind of is when you watch
Okay.
the movie.
Yeah, it feels like an older classic.
right? Okay.
Yeah, but it's like Clooney operating on like his absolute highest level. Tilda Swinton is great in it.
She won, right? I think she won the
Ooh,
Oscar that year.
I like Tom
No,
Wilkinson, too.
yes, she did. Actually, yes, Tilda Swinton did win the Oscar for that.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Wilkinson's great.
Tom Wilkinson's great in it.
Wilkinson's great in it. Yeah, he goes off the rails in this one.
Yeah, I mean, all
Willis
three of them
does.
were nominated: Clooney, Wilkinson, and Swinton. It was nominated for Best Picture, for Best Screenplay. Yeah, it's a really, really good movie.
I guess. Sorry.
Like a legal thriller. That's really good.
Yeah, that's why it reminds me of like a 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Now I got to go back and look at my. Oh, let me see.
I'm still
I'm
thinking
looking at
about
my
One
top 10 of
Battle.
2007. Okay,
Where'd you have Michael Clayton?
I got Michael Clayton. Ooh, I got Michael Clayton at 9.
Ooh,
Wow.
interesting.
Wow, but I mean the other ones are. I got There Will Be Blood, Diving Bell and the Butterfly. Have you ever seen
Oh,
that?
I love Diving Bell and Butterfly.
No Country, Zodiac, Into the Wild.
Oh, Zodiac came out that year too. God damn.
4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days.
Oh shit.
Once,
Oh my God, what a year.
Away from
Once?
Her.
Oh my gosh.
and then
Away
Michael
from
Clayton, and then of course the Counterfeiters. Yeah, that was a great year.
Wow.
That's a really good year.
Dude, movies. They're coming back, guys. They're coming
Shit, you know
back,
what? I mean,
but
other
you'll
than
never
I
top
think
that.
I think in that year Michael Clayton would be my number 2 this year.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right? It was my number 9 of 2007. Michael Clayton is the second best if it
You
came
know,
out in.
I'm looking at the Oscars, and you know what other movie came out that year that I loved that I feel like didn't get enough praise was 3:10 to Yuma also came out that
Oh
year.
yeah, I like. That's the
Really?
first time we saw Ben Foster, right?
Yeah. The first time he really kind of like leaped off screen, but yeah.
He's
that was
been like
also
a-
Kiko. That was also the year of the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
No, 2007?
God.
Yeah.
No, and that wasn't
That's a
in your top 10 list?
I have no idea why.
Yeah.
What?
A crazy year.
But I mean,
as we're
I'm
seeing
looking
here.
at this top 10 list, and like even something like
Assassination
Away
of
from Her,
Jesse
which I've only seen a couple of times.
Oh,
Yeah. By the way, the movies
take that,
that
out
you-
of there. Put that back in.
This was also the year of Atonement came out that year.
No.
Ratatouille,
Oh my God,
Juno.
Atonement. Is
Atonement
and
one.
Rose.
I always remember Atonement. I didn't love Atonement, but
Into the
score,
Wild.
the score one that year because of that fucking typewriter.
The typewriter
score.
score,
I
yeah.
Oh my
love
God.
that typewriter score.
Yeah. This was a crazy year in movies, the 2007.
Take off Away from Her and put in Assassination of Jesse James.
Yeah, Assassination is great.
Because that's like.
Yeah. Anyway, we got sidetracked. We have one more movie to talk about, which made Jocelyn's list at number 1. It made my list at number 3. Where was it? Hold
Kiko
on.
gave it a C.
Number 3. Kiko gave it a C. Jocelyn, take it away.
Listen, this movie I felt like was my triangle of sadness this year, where I was watching it thinking like,
Can you say the
why
name of it
aren't
first?
more? Huh?
Can you say the name of it first?
Oh, I'm sorry. If I had legs, I'd kick you.
Thank
You
you.
do have.
I
legs.
I was watching this movie and I was like looking around like, is anybody else watching this? Like, am I the only one? Like, it took me probably like 4 hours to watch because I was watching it in like 3-minute increments because I was just like loving every second of it. And I think it's a little bit of what you were saying, Kiko, about how like your top 10, your number 10, where it's like it just hit at the right moment in your life, where obviously this is about being a mom. Clearly it's about a mom, but if Die My Love was like the worst movie I've ever seen trying to depict a new mom, this was like one of the best, and I feel finally vindicated in the fact that I called that woman director that's why women shouldn't be directors, because then this one was a female director, thankfully, so I can finally not seem like a super misogynist. Because it was like the most accurate, in a crazy way, depiction of being a mom, and done in the most funny way possible. Like, this was funny to me like Succession is funny, where I was like literally laughing out loud. I have a list of things I want to mention. I think from the beginning, she's like scarfing down some pizza. She's like having a hard day. She takes off her tights, and every woman knows that feeling where you're just like trying to relax and have a nice time, and your daughter's driving you crazy, and you're just stuffing pizza in your face, and then this gaping hole waterfall falls through her roof. And it was like the funniest thing to me, because it's like the most extreme example of like, now I have to deal with this, and it's like literally like but there's also a lot of metaphors, I think, to what that huge gaping hole in water
So can I just say
life means. Yes.
Real quickly, is that like, so this is an interesting movie to talk about, and I'm going to give this back to you in a second, but like,
sure,
we compare this to Die My Love, which is like two movies about motherhood, I think, going on,
right,
where Die My Love is like entirely metaphorical and hard to crack into, whereas there's plenty of metaphor in If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, but there's so much grounding it that makes it like relatable, I think,
and weird and fun.
Yeah.
And like Kaufman-esque, where the metaphor is like, oh my God, you can laugh at it because it's so ridiculous, like we were talking about with Weapons, where it's just like,
yeah.
There's a part, okay, I'm going to go through the list of things that really tickled me. So there was, of course, the pizza part where I'm like, I've been there. And then it's like, literally the worst thing you can ever think of is like your roof collapsing. So I just like died laughing. But then they're at like a children's hospital because, again, this pressure of this unknown illness and the daughter having to get to a certain weight, which every mother can identify with. And I love that it's not specific. And it's like, who knows what it means and what disease it is, but she just has to achieve it. And it's like super stressful. And I'm already like remembering like being a postpartum mom and having to like meet these milestones, and like maybe my baby is like sick, you're just like constantly worried. Anyway, and she's at the children's hospital, and it's like this dumb art that they have at children's hospitals. And I remember from when I was a reporter, and they're like panning down, and it's like clouds and all this bullshit, and then all of a sudden it just starts saying help. It's like help, and then it's like help ! And it's like supposed to be like children's fun art at this children's hospital, and that cracked me up. That all of a sudden it was just like dark and them screaming help. Then, of course, the hamster scene, like when the hamster runs into traffic and gets squished. I literally was like, what am I watching? This is so fun. It reminded me of a Kaufman movie. Like if a woman, I feel like Mary Bronstein is like a female Kaufman, because it was just like so ridiculous and so just bizarre and cartoonish and fun. And then the last thing I'll say that I noticed, because again, I'm going to watch it again when it comes out on HBO Max, and I'm going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb because there's so many details that were cracking me up. But the mom that ditches her kid, because she's like, I don't want to have to kill him, or I'm not going to be this person. And she sends like an email about Andrea Yates, the woman who drowned all her kids or whatever, which is like, again, very dark. And my God, I can't believe that I love this movie. But her email is rileysmommy@gmail.com. It's like literally her entire identity is based around her son. And that cracked me up because I was just like, people don't even notice these details. And how funny that she like literally made her being a mom her email account, rileysmommy@gmail.com. And it's like just a small moment. And it does so much for conveying like how hard it is, and then just like things like that about being a mom. So yeah.
Well, one thing that I find interesting to just quickly get your viewpoint on this is that, like, I think the biggest description of it, certainly not my original thought pattern, but like the idea here is that it's like uncut gems for moms, because it's very like visceral, it's very like stressful, it's very in your face. A reference that you did not understand until last week or 2 weeks ago when you watched Uncut Gems for the first time, and now I think you agree with that assessment of Uncut Gems.
And I think that's not. I don't think that's doing either of them any credit, though, because I feel like. But I will say that I saw Uncut Gems as much as a metaphor for things as I did with If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, as far as like a non-specific mom's anxiety stuff, and they do it so beautifully. Both movies do the metaphor so well. Where I was like, it's very like vague, and it's very. Like you just said, just stressful in a way that is like not specific or it. And man, and that's not even talking about the performances. Like Rose Byrne was just incredible.
Yeah, I think Rose Byrne gives. I mentioned that the best male performance of the year, in my opinion, is Plemons. I think Rose Byrne gives the best female performance of the year. I think she surpasses Jessie Buckley.
I agree. Especially because like the Buckley thing, it's just like this moment where it's like, yeah, very visceral and everything. But Rose Byrne is so controlled, and she's having to deliver like so much complex emotions with what she's trying to say. Yeah. Like even when she's telling Conan O'Brien, and that's actually my one criticism of this movie, even though I loved it so much. I wish they had put a professional actor in that role, and I do love Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, why did they put him in there? I didn't get
because
that.
she is like bulldozing him with acting. It's just like.
Did you like A$AP Rocky
Muhammad
though?
Ali in a butterfly. What?
Did you like A$AP Rocky though?
I did love A$AP Rocky, and you know I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be ironic that he's chosen as the?
I think a little bit. I mean, I've listened to Conan's podcast where he had Mary Bronstein and Rose Byrne on, and I think a big part of it is that Mary Bronstein really wanted Conan in this role and like really pursued him for it, and I think it's just part of, I don't know, just the idea that he's playing it entirely straight, but it's absurd that he's in that role.
Going back to Uncut Gems, like, you know, sort of, and Safdie does that where he puts real people in there, and it is hard.
I don't think he's bad in the movie.
Anyone other than Cody. No, I don't think so either. But I think when he's up against Rose, because she's literally like, I haven't seen a performance like that in years. It's just like literally nothing can compare. So
yeah, she's very magnetic in the movie, and really this movie was high on my list too. And I just think, like I said, I think it's just so visceral. It's such a visceral experience, and done so in a way that I feel is not overbearing. I feel like it is an accurate representation of things. It leans into its absurdity while still feeling grounded, because Rose Byrne is such a grounded performer in the movie. Yes. It's really funny.
So true.
And I think it's such a funny movie where a lot of funny stuff happens. Like even when she's at the brink, like, I mean, this movie has Rose Byrne like running out into the ocean, like about to fucking just like drown herself in the ocean, and it still manages to be like extremely funny to watch this happen. And also too, like, it's just so stressful, like, and we never like see the daughter, but we hear the daughter, we hear the complaints. This daughter is trying to get to this weight. She's not listening to anyone. The doctor is like overbearing, and I think that's a great character. I think maybe you didn't love the doctor as much, but like,
no, I did.
Oh, you did.
It's
like,
Mary
okay.
Bronstein.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
I didn't know that was her.
I think I didn't like the character, but she's supposed to be unlikable. Like she's a nightmare.
But it's just like the series of like escalating events that just like is funny in the absurdity of like this woman is going through so much in a very short amount of time. And just like the idea that she's like, she's playing a therapist and Conan is her therapist in the same building, and like she's going down
down the hall.
Yeah, down in the same office, and like he's giving her absolutely nothing, and she's having to like manage all of this.
There's so many things I'm not even mentioning that are like little things where everyone assumes that he's her boss, which is so funny. They're always like, "Can you ask your boss?" And she's like, "He's not my boss." Like, just because he's a man.
But those
there's
scenes
even
where
a time when she answers the phone and the police officer, she says something to him where I was dying laughing because it's like hilarious.
Yeah,
just like the little things.
But the scenes where she's like trying to like really open up and like she's just getting nothing in return. It's just really funny. And then I also think that it has that like surprise like Christian Slater part of her husband
that too.
And that
who
also
doesn't love Christian Slater. Like that was also like a nice little surprise. And you know, and I just think it's Rocky, and he does great.
It's a really great dark comedy. And a movie that like I was hoping that you would like, because I feel like it is the sort of like, and maybe you can speak to this, but it feels like the definitive like what it's like to be a mom movie.
I literally couldn't. I mean, like I said at the beginning, if Die My Love was supposed to be like, you know, the example, this blew it away like by far.
Did you like Night Bitch last year?
I've seen some comparisons, and I've seen others say it just doesn't even get to it. I did see Night Bitch. I was like, cool, like it was fine. This, I literally want to go through it like, you know, frame by frame to see all of the inner jokes of like what this, you know, filmmaker was conveying about like, I see you and I know how hard it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What about Tully? Did you like Tully?
You know what? I haven't seen Tully.
Okay.
I need to see that with Charlize. And isn't it like it was a male director though, but whatever.
Yeah,
but it was Diablo Cody who wrote it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, I do need to see Tully.
I'm not a mom, but my favorite motherhood movie is probably The Babadook. That's such a good movie about motherhood and how just frustrated she is with her son. Oh God, I love that part.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See, and that's why I love this one, because I'm sorry, just before I move on, because you might be like investigated by CPS for some, you know, things that like Rose is exploring in this movie, and it's like it doesn't make her a bad mom. She's literally just trying to hold it all together, and nobody's helping her, and so I feel like it does a great way of showing like the complexities of like being where the email is a perfect example of that, where some women think that they have to lose themselves entirely into being a mom to be a good mom, and it's like that doesn't make you a good mom.
Well, when your kids get older, that's going to inevitably happen. I mean, I don't think I've ever walked into my son or daughter's school without them saying, "Oh, that's Alora's dad," or "That's Mateo's dad."
No, but the email, she made her email.
Oh, she made it herself. I'm just saying,
it was Riley's mom at gmail.com. Was her email was her son's identity. You know what I mean?
Makes sense, yeah.
It's hilarious. Like that's just like a little detail where it's like that woman had made her entire identity about being a mom. It's not
mine's still booty shaker 69.
Exactly. Of course, because you're a man, Kiko. Yeah. So yours isn't
at
your
yahoo.com.
children's names. You know.
All
anyway,
right.
Thank you for letting me go on that trip, because I've been waiting to do it since I didn't get to talk about it on the show, and I watched it and was just like, that was the best thing I've seen in a long time. So.
All right.
Hey, I think we all have some great lists.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap here. I think all three of us all had One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, and Frankenstein were on all three of our lists. On two of the three of our lists were Nouvelle Vague, Sinners, Perfect Neighbor. So a lot of overlap here. And what?
If I Had Legs.
Oh, If I Had Legs, I could do, yes. And then
who agreed more? Was it me and you? Was it me and?
I think it's you and Jocelyn had more agreements.
Wow, so we have a shared brain now.
You guys had One Battle. You had Marty. You had Nouvelle. You had Sinners. You had Frankenstein. And that's 5.
5 is a lot. If you go through, there was a website before it shut down a couple of years ago, but they would put all the top 10 lists of critics, and if you got 3 or 4, that was a lot. Like,
so technically speaking,
5 is a lot. 5 is definitely.
I have 5 with Jocelyn too, because we had Legs.
What? I'm like the glue.
Battle.
Yeah, you're the glue that's keeping this whole thing together.
Marty and No Other Choice. So there's a lot of overlap. So there's that. Honorable mentions real quick. For me, just off the top of my head, I would say Begonia was on my honorable mentions. Ephus was on my honorable mentions. I will say there was one other. Sinners was good. Weapons for sure on my honorable mentions. And I don't know if either of you have any ones that you want to bring up that you also really liked.
Train Dreams.
Okay.
Rental Family, I don't think got enough love.
Rental Family was decent, yeah.
Yeah. Hamnet.
Yeah, I'm looking on my list and seeing if I see anything that was like 3.5 or 4 stars. I know Holy Boy, we're going to wait till next year on.
Oh, yeah, Rental Family. I didn't see that one, but...
The Plague was a B for me. The Plague is pretty decent.
Oh, I like The Plague. I met the kid. I didn't get to take a picture with him, but...
I really want to see
really quickly, can I mention 2 mainstream movies that I feel like really came through?
This is your show, Cody.
Thank you.
Please don't say Superman.
Predator Badlands, a movie that...
Predator Badlands was better than it should have been. Or
a great... Yeah, a great mainstream movie that gave you a Predator character with a real narrative arc. Like a really cool movie.
And Elle Fanning was in that one too. No?
Elle Fanning playing dual roles in that movie. Also Thunderbolts, a Marvel movie that I feel like was one of Marvel's best movies in a long time. That really dealt with
F1.
Yeah, F1's fun. I liked F1. I love that F1 gives you like the sort of like I
liked F1.
Yeah, it gives you
like
the sort
an
of
old like movie star.
It gives you like the satisfaction of Brad Pitt like actually like winning. Also a movie The Threesome, I think was a fun movie.
Yeah.
With which Jocelyn characterized as the hottest guy alive is in that movie.
Who's that?
He's this new guy. He's British, but he was super hot.
Did you see The Threesome, Kiko?
I did not see The Threesome.
Pretty decent movie. I think great Zoe Deutsch performance in that movie as well.
What was the other one with the twins?
Oh, Twinless.
Twinless was also good this year.
Yeah, Twinless was another good one. Just trying to give props to the proper movies here. Andre's an Idiot is a movie I saw at Sundance that is not coming out yet, but I think was a really good movie. I gave a B+ to. I don't know if it would have made the top 10, but it was pretty good. Yeah.
I was at the Critics' Choice. I was sitting, Jocelyn. I was sitting at the Train Dreams table.
Were you?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who was there?
So it was across the.
Joe.
Was
Edgerton.
He
Edgerton,
was incredible.
and then William H. Macy. So.
Oh shit! Really?
Oh wow.
So yeah, I went around.
I did see your William H.
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. So I got to talk to him. But it was cool because you get the number, and so I was walking around looking for my table, and I got in there really early, so I was looking for my table when I found it, and I was like, oh shit, I'm probably sitting at a table. So I started looking. I was like, Joel Edgerton, and I was like, and then 2 seats away from me was William H. Macy. I was like, oh my god, yes. And William H. Macy's like. I always talk about the top 10 of all time, and right now the way that he's in 3 of my top 10 of all time.
I mean,
Fargo, and Magnolia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
by the way, his performance in Fargo, fucking.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Incredible.
I saw it last week
like
again.
Career making.
Oh really? You watched it recently?
Yeah. Oh man, it's just freaking.
Fargo is so good.
I love that movie.
I think that would make my all time. You know, Kiko, you and I talk about the deathbed top 10. Yeah. Fargo's on my deathbed.
Well,
top 10.
I talked to William H. Macy about it. I
really?
brought up that term.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what a top 10 of all movies of all time? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, that I have a deathbed top 10. He thought that was funny. He's like, oh. And I was like, and Fargo's on there right now, and it'll never come out. He's like, I'm glad you told me that. Thank you so much.
So sweet.
Yeah.
No, Cody sold me Train Dreams as being a Malick-like movie, and I was like, nah, it's far from Malick. But Joel
it's
Edgerton,
very Malick-y. What are you talking about?
No, I would say like it's similar, but it's far from being as good as a Malick movie.
Oh no, it's not on that.
No,
I mean, that's another Sundance movie.
But
from
Joel
last year,
Edgerton really was quite impressive. I was really impressed by his performance in that.
Yeah. All right, so that is wrapping up 2025. It is in our rearview mirror. No more 2025. We hate you. Fuck off. No more 2025.
I don't know. 2026 hasn't been great so far, but
Hey, I mean, we've got 3 more years of Trump. We're like, let's fucking do this. We're very happy about this. 2026 starts in earnest next week. We're going to be talking about 28 years later, the Bone Temple, the follow-up to 28 years later that we saw last year. Also, we've got next week, I should say, we have Dead Man's Wire, the new Gus Van Sant movie that is coming out wide. And then we also have a Netflix movie called The Rip. This is a Joe Carnahan movie. A director, Kiko, you and I always, I think, feel a little bit of optimism with Joe Carnahan because I feel like he's made some really interesting movies over the course of his career. I think that you really like The Gray as part of his sort of like... I
love The Gray, especially when you think about what Liam Neeson was going through during that time. He had just lost his wife. And
you also really like Narc, right?
Yeah, Narc.
I loved Narc.
The opening of Narc is so
one
good.
of the best ever.
Yeah,
oh my
I love
god.
that opening
Yeah.
scene.
So The Rip, for anyone who doesn't know, is Ben Affleck, Matt Damon together again. They both produce the movie, they both star in the movie, and it's written and directed by Joe Carnahan. So that is a Netflix movie that comes out next week. So again, we will have The Rip, we will have Dead Man's Wire, we will have 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Also next week, I will be, I think, previewing the Sundance Film Festival. We've talked about Sundance before, but for the first time ever, I am very proud to say that CineSnob will be covering Sundance in a very official form. I am credentialed for CineSnob for Sundance this year, so we will have coverage. We will hopefully have interviews, reviews, sort of recaps there. I'm very excited about that. And Kiko, I don't know, do you have anything hitting the YouTube page anytime
Yeah, if you
soon?
go to CineSnob.net, I have an interview with Morena Baccarin from Greenland 2. And then I put up my Tiana Taylor interview as well for One Battle After Another's there. So
Perfect.
check it out when you get a chance.
Yeah, and hopefully we will also have some interviews for, as I mentioned, Sundance. And I've got my schedule kind of filled out. It's always very ambitious for me. I basically last year I set up my projector in my movie room and basically watched movies from when I woke up till when I went to sleep for 5 days straight. And that's what I'm planning to do this time. I think I could get like 6 to 7 movies a day knocked out. So it's always really fun. And I'm excited to cover it. This is, I believe, the last year that Sundance is in Park City. It is moving to Colorado, I think.
Oh, that's right. It's moving
in the future. Let me see. Sundance moving. It is moving to Boulder, Colorado, starting in 2027. Also, this is the year that they're honoring Robert Redford, the founder of the Sundance Film Festival,
who passed away last year.
Yeah, who passed away last year. So we'll be covering the movies. Also, with Somos Hollywood, your sort of Latino. Latinx-based series, hopefully covering some of those elements of the festival as well. So excited to cover that. So if you want to reach out to us, podcast@cinesnob.net is the email. CineSnob wherever you find podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. And if you subscribe on audio, again, I'm sorry for being late. I just uploaded the last 2 episodes while we were talking, and then this top 10 episode will be up soon. And then 2026 is going to start. And just as a fair warning to all the listeners out there, beginning of the year is always rough. the January, February months are difficult, but we will be in the spring before you know it. But hopefully there's some good movies. Again, Companion. A January movie.
Perfect Neighbor.
That made my list. Perfect Neighbor was Sundance that made my list. There were also the Zodiac Killer Project made my list. We've lost Kiko. So
he must have had a heart out.
Yeah, sorry, Kiko. We had your 8:40 p.m. heart out. Sorry we didn't make it. Everyone else, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the CineSnob Podcast. To read reviews, interviews, and more, visit CineSnob.net. See you next week.